Morning. Killing time watching Julian's video. I was also watching Julian's video. Half last night, half this morning. How's everyone doing? Are we live? I think we're live. Yes, we're live. How am I? I'm good, thanks. How are you, Crazy Boy 2016 cashier? I talked to Yaz. What? NPN is new part needed. Or not placed nearly even closely. That's too many letters. The joys of compliance reports for an audit for an IT company. Oh, God. I hated compliance when I was working for IBM. It was terrible. Really, really bad. So let's say hi to everyone. I'm going to say hi backwards. No, I'll say hi forwards because otherwise that's silly. It'll keep moving and I'll never get to do it. Rob is here early. Rob, are you okay? Wait. Everyone stop. Rob is not out drinking. What's going on? Did all your mates abandon you tonight? So let's go back. James, hey, how you doing? Yuri, good morning. Michael, and Michael Bernhardt. I'm going to keep calling you Michael, by the way. Maico, because we had a chat and I can't remember. My brain's fizzled. Whatever. Yes, Rob is here. I'm shocked. Hey Charles, how you doing? Templatronics, hello. And Julian is here. Hello, Julian. You and I have to have a serious talk, mate, about moving you over at least to some surface mount work. Like, all those resistors you stuck on. Oh, come on. I mean, I get you don't want to work with little tiny parts, but like, 1206 is pretty large. And, just enough with the through hole. Come on. You can't enjoy soldering that much. Okay, so who else we got? Paul the Count is here. Hello, Paul. HMX, howdy. I said hi already to Crazy Boy 2006 cashier. CGA says hello. Crazy Roops. Woohoo. Marco is here. Alex, hello. Dave Darko, the embedded hobbyist. Oh, did I move too fast? I think I did. I jumped too far. Wait, what happened? Harry, hello Harry. Mike Swan. Hey David. Leo's here. Next PCB's SMD. Yes! We're going to slowly convert Julian over. How exciting is that? Hey Jerry. Hello John. Christian. Hey Berger. Is it Berger? Berger? I don't know. I've got a friend who's Berger, spelt the same way. Hey John, how you doing? I don't enjoy through-hole soldering either. I have to admit, it's my least favourite form of soldering. I find it a chore, but you know that's just me. GClown25, hello. I think GClown25 is new. And Demetrius, hello from Greece. I mean, hello from Melbourne. I'm sitting in tomorrow, waiting on the postie. What? I'm sitting in tomorrow, waiting on the postie. Two things arriving. Awesome. That is exciting, Paul. That's very exciting. 50 people and 10 likes. I'm surprised there's 50 people. Oh, okay. So, wow. I've had a crazy week. I've had an absolutely crazy week. So, lots to download. But let's get it started with, everyone has to fill in the sentence. My pick and place is, go for it. A few people doing it on Twitter already. It was kind of funny. Crazy boy, I'm building a Z80 computer from scratch. Through hole all the way. Yeah, okay, that's different. Like, good on you for building a Z80 computer, but that's, I guess if you're trying to go for that retro look, you're trying to recreate something, that's fine. But there's just no need for Julian to suffer through all those resistors. No, there's no need for us to suffer through all those resistors. Crazy Roots. Oh, be careful what you type. No, I didn't get a Neoden. I've got a Charm High. 36 VA. Because Neoden's got exactly the same problem. Neoden's are pretty... The Neoden 4, anyway, for the money, is pretty... Yeah, it's pretty bad, just like they all are at that range. They've all got the same problems. And so to pay... I always wanted a Neoden, don't get me wrong, but to pay that much more for a machine that's going to exhibit exactly the same problems that I've got now, that everyone has got in this range of machine, it just wasn't worth it. I do love the Neodens, though. The next one up, the Neoden... Or not next one, the Neoden 12 is something I'd really want, but it's about $39,000 delivered with all feeders, so that was a bit much. Wait, okay, so we're getting lots of questions. Right, let's go back. Broken. No, it's not broken. Hang on. Pet hate is tiny SMD when there's room for a 1 watt resistor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so Julian should be working at 1206. They're massive, right? 1206 parts are really big. They're not much smaller than through-hole resistors, but they're just, I don't know, it's nicer to work with, I think. Really easy to hand solder. Hey John, HDN. Yeah, I've spent my whole life making all my stuff by hand. I've only just got a pick and place this week during this the last 7 days. So yeah, it arrived on Friday. So it's broken. It's not broken. It's not smashed to pieces, although it might have been shooting pieces of stuff all over the place. Yes, it's fully functional. It is fully functional, Julian. But is fully functional good enough? Is it awesome? Well, it is awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of things, right? Is it working great? No. Making places working with through-hole components, right? By hand. Is it a pain in the ass? Yes, my pick and place is a pain in the ass. Is it rock solid? No, but it is working. Yes. Is it amazing or garbage? Yes. Hey, Mad Bookmaker. I don't know what that link is. I'm not going to click on it now. I don't open links, YouTube links on my stream in case I get a copyright strike. But if you let us know what that is, we can maybe talk about it. Is it unusable? No, it's not unusable. Is it okay? It's just okay. Working great. It's working as good as it can. So easy to set up. I finished all the crowd supply orders already. No. No, that's probably the opposite end of the spectrum. Is it difficult to program? We don't program it. Is it difficult to calibrate and set up? Yes. It's very quirky. It's got a lot of quirks, this particular machine. All mine, keep your hands off. Yes. Hey Greg, by the way, I'm not, for anyone new that's popped in, this is going through, I apologise. At least, I can't count, 17 people have popped in since I asked that question. So hey Nicholas, if I haven't said hi, hey John, HDN, who else haven't I said hi to? Azoa42, hello. J-Man is here. Baby of it. Does it like, if it does that, I'd like a baby of it. What? Pick and place has different meaning for a 3-year-old. Does my pick and place work? It does work. Did you ever use RVIS at IBM? No, I did not. I was in their LAN WAN. I was working at Global Asset Management on site with, can't remember. I'll get back to you. Is it noisy? Yes, it is noisy. Hey James, how you doing? Yeah, 1206 is a good size for surface mount. If you still want to work big, but you don't want to do through hole. It's like a 5-year-old. No, it's like a 3-year-old child. It's not even maybe a 2-year-old with all the tantrums. Will it run crisis? No, it won't. How small can it tolerate? Well, see, that's the problem. We'll get to that in a second. Capable of doing SP32 and 402s precisely and accurate though. Well, that is the question, Yuri, because my board is lots of little tiny parts. It's 04, 02 and smaller. on my board. So that is the problem, I guess. I see you finally got the machine you said on many occasions that you were not going to buy. That's right. I bought the one that I said I wasn't going to buy. I was always going to buy something bigger or better. But I'll explain why I bought this, which is interesting. Is it consuming all my waking hours? It absolutely is. I have since I installed it on Friday. I've honestly I've been living in my workshop, getting up to speed as quick as possible. I expected about a 2 week. I expected to go a week before I built a tiny Pico panel, and that's not what happened. So we'll get to that soon. Is it worth the money? It is worth the money I spent on it, yes. But is it good enough? That's the question. Already hacked to play Doom? No. Hello XUM Zoom live stream at PNP working when? Well, that's going to be really hard to do. I'm not going to be able to give you a live stream of it working, but I might have something. I'm going to try something interesting today. Hey Graham. Was my live stream starting? Yes, it is. I never got the Will It Run the Crisis joke. Someone asked me that. Right, so Crisis used to be so high end that you needed the fastest computer, the fastest PC ever, as a game engine, like the engine behind it, for Crytek. But yeah, that's not the case anymore. But that's what the joke is. What? I expected something like, since I set up Friday, I got back my night sleeps. No, I've actually been dreaming pick and place machines. Did it swallow? Is your pick and play being an NPN not picking nothing? Sometimes, yes, it's not picking nothing. Mine can't do accurately, although I was just calibrating a bit more today. Which one have you got, John? I can't remember. Have you got the same? No more tears. Hey, Andy Mouse. Yes, so I'm forever calibrating it, correct. And it also is forever losing or changing what I need to calibrate. It's a moving playfield for me. Hey, Dean. Someone made it with it. I know some people have used ODrive to update their pick and place machines to make them faster. But faster pick and places doesn't necessarily mean good pick and place machine. It potentially just means parts go fly everywhere. Oh, that's right. You built your custom one. I forgot. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna try something, and then I'm gonna show you the pick and place machine. And I've done something weird to do this, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me. I'm going to, yeah. You might not be able to hear me because I have to stand on the other end of the room, but it's still going to be recording from here. So I'll talk loud. I won't talk loud right now. I'll talk loud, and I'm going to try to do something. Would I recommend my pick and place to others? Absolutely, but depends on what you're doing. Okay, so I'll have to explain. There's good and bad, and actually something happened overnight that may change things, but not in my time frame, right? But for this machine. So what I'm going to turn my lights on. I'm going to do this. Can everyone? I had my first experience with hot air reflow just now before the stream. Hot air reflow is pretty cool, as long as you don't fly your parts everywhere. You've got to be really careful you don't burn things as well, how you apply heat, but that's for another conversation. So what I've got my Mac set up over there with a webcam on it, and I'm screen sharing to it. I'm going to switch now. It's going to be black. Oh, it's not. Oh, that's just the last. I don't think that's actually. Oh, maybe. So I'm screen sharing to it. I'm going to turn my lights on, and I'm going to talk really loud and show you the pick and place machine. And I'm not going to be able to see the chat. And if you can't hear me, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it for long, so just bear with me. Please don't pile questions on while I'm gone, because when I come back, I'm going to miss them all, maybe. So here we go. We're going to try this. Okay. Looks like the screen sharing's broken. Okay, hang on a second. Let's try that again. Okay. Can everyone see that? Okay, we have picture. Here we go. Can everyone see? Yes. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, you can. I can see the meter. I'm just talking really loud. So, it's going to be a bit jerky and blurry, and it's not going to update very fast. But this is the best I can do. And it won't even reach very far. That's as far as it'll reach. So, that's my pick and place machine. And can't tell if the image is flipped. No, it's not flipped. That's fine. So what you can see there is, I can't get any closer unfortunately, but I'll see if I can get my hand closer. So that's the look up, the up camera there, the black square, that's the up vision. The heads are just over there. They're all the feeders here, coming in from reels. Some of them are obviously on big reels, so I had to build a custom stand for that. And so the heads come down and they pick up from the sides. And that blue plate, not this one here, but that blue plate there, the PCB sits on there. That's a support, so the PCB doesn't flex when the head's pushing the parts down. Now, something I want to show you just quickly, this spot right here, that is for waste collection. Sometimes the head, if it can't use the part, it'll put it on there. Quite often though, it just spews it all over the bench and I have to go and collect them over here, and I'll show you something interesting in a minute, but I can't, not from this camera, I'll have to get it from my phone. So, feeding everything in from the reels into the feeders is extremely difficult. Getting the pull tape systems in, getting it all in, and getting it calibrated and perfectly aligned for the pickup pin, I have to do that I have to recalibrate them every time I start a new panel. And I'll explain why in a moment, which is one of the reasons why this particular machine is a problem with the part size I'm using. But that's the machine. This is my setup. As you can see, I've got my monitor sitting up on top of 2 boxes. Can anyone tell me what those boxes are? If anyone can tell me what those boxes are, you'll win something. I don't know what, but you'll win something. Maybe I'll send you a tiny pico early, if you can tell me what the boxes are. Anyway, so that's all, it's working. So it's really low, which is really bad for my back, let me tell you, because I'm constantly leaning over it, fixing it and tweaking it. And I didn't expect to be doing that all the time, and my back is just killing me. I normally have a chair sitting here, and I need to get maybe a lower chair, but it doesn't matter because I'm constantly leaning over the machine. So that's my pick and place. Does it work? Yes, it does. Okay, I'm going to come back now. There you go, it worked. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm sorry if it was soft. I'm going to get a croaky voice now. Okay, I'm putting the webcam back. Hi Mum, I'm on TV! How was that? Did that work? Did everyone get to see? Boxes of tiles. Did everyone get to see everything? Oh, hello, Brian is here. Is anyone? Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn the lights off now because it's really bad. Okay, wow. So, wait, let's go back. Okay, my phone. Here we go. Don't forget, hit that. Okay, what, where, who, when, why, how. Fires up pre-recorded footage. No, it wasn't pre-recorded. Simple its own upgrades. My pick and place can't be modded, so I can't do that, unfortunately, with my pick and place. He's going to talk about these. Now we can talk about. Oh right, talk about secrets while I'm gone. And about my phone, stream to OBS. Yeah, I tried setting up IP camera, and it just didn't work very well. Did I miss a review video on what? I've only done an unboxing. Okay, so we'll get to. Hang on. Brian, hello Brian. Hello Brone. No, this is the latest you'll find regarding performance. Right, okay, yeah, I haven't done it. I've only done the one video on it so far, and I'll explain why in a moment. More an uncrating video. Yes, it was. Boxes of tiles. What are boxes of tiles? Oh, right, those boxes. Printer paper, no. I'm going to guess pin headers, no. Adobe software boxes, close, but no, not Adobe. Who was that dorky guy? Was that me? Hi Mama on TV? You're acting. Look, Mum, no computer. What was the price? Okay, boxes, cardboard boxes. The boxes are cardboard boxes. They are made of cardboard. Is it? No, not printer paper. Okay, lots of questions. Wait, we'll get back. Do I have buyer's remorse? No, I don't have buyer's remorse. I don't. What did you miss? Hey, Chris, if I've missed saying hi to anyone, I'm sorry. Oh, Hex's Adventures. Hey, guys. Hey, the Tinker Dad. Looks for ladies' hats. Just came to get hello, give a thumbs up. Thanks, Agim. Love to see in here. I've got footage. Right, so here's the thing. So if you're back on there, you can find short roller seat. Okay, I'll have a look at that later, David. Hex says feel free to share, but right now, like I'm trying to focus the conversation just for the moment on ball end boxes. No, on what I just get past the pick and play stuff. So maybe just wait before you share. Otherwise, we're not going to get a chance to talk about it just for now, if that's okay. So, okay. The reason I've not... Okay, so I've taken hours of footage, right? I don't know how to release it. I don't have time to edit it. I don't know how to release it. I don't even have time to capture it in and put it on a timeline to export it. The problem is, and it's a good thing, is I'm accelerating way faster than I thought I would. I thought, as I said, it would take me about a week before I was able to run my first panel. I ran my first panel Sunday afternoon, not Tiny Pico. I ran my first, the first panels I put in there, I loaded 2 parts. I loaded 0603 10K resistors and my little SMD buttons, and I learned how to use the machine building my proto panels. These guys. Let me just switch. No, it wasn't through hole. Let me just switch. Oh, not that one. Not that one. That one. So just building these guys. Okay, that's not... forgot to adjust my camera this morning. Okay. So just building these, right? So it's 3 buttons and 2 0603 resistors. Because this was a really good thing on a panel to learn. So to learn how to export the stuff from Eagle, how to tell the software to it's panelized, how to get the calibration right for those, and then obviously we've got an 0603 part which is bigger than 0402, and we've got a really awkward button to pick up. And so I learned about the different vacuum settings and the different head size, the nozzle sizes and stuff. And my first panel I built was pretty terrible. But by my third panel, I had it building a perfect panel, and I built 3 panels of these on Sunday. And I said, awesome, great. Monday morning, I'm going to start working on setting the rest of the feeders up. Sunday afternoon and Monday, feeders up and start working on the Tiny Picos, which I did. And I'll get to that in a second. So what I want to do, I've got actually, I might be able to. This is going to be really ad hoc, off the cuff, but I'm going to see if I can show you some pictures that I took, and maybe even some video of it working. Because I'm just not going to get a chance to produce videos. So the problem with the videos is I'm so far beyond, like, anything I could release today of a video is already history. Like, I've moved a million miles beyond that already. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, I feel like I'm going to be living in the past, showing you things that are not relevant anymore. Does that make sense? Like I had stacks of issues that I was going to show in my first video, but I solved it an hour after I recorded that video. What's the point of releasing that video now? So I took more video of the solution, but the next morning I'd already moved on to the next boards. Does that make sense? Like it was just, it's really rapid. But what I'm going to do though is find you some pictures to show you, if I can, wow, why are these not in order? Date. So just bear with me. Oh, is it really not going to let me show? I can't show these in order of date. You've got to be kidding me. Bear with me a second, sorry. I'm a bit unprepared for this. Near 24/7 of my stream, you do not want to see a stream of me doing this. Oh, wow. Okay, here's one of them. Okay, so here's the thing. First thing we're going to talk about. Sorry if I've missed anyone's questions, and I'll get back to everything. I will, I promise you. And I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible. It's going better than it is and it isn't. Hang on, we'll get there. So the first problem with the machine is its machine vision is pretty terrible, right? The up camera. It uses OpenCV, but the machine vision, its calibration settings are pretty bad, and everyone agrees who has them, agrees, and there's settings to change the calibration, but the settings don't save. There's a whole lot of secret menus in the software. So, just, oh, that's not the one I wanted, but, I can't believe I can't do these. It's not giving me the date. Hang on a second. I should be able to fix this. Bear with me a second. Ah. Okay. I might have solved it. Sorry about this. Date created. There we go. Okay, so this is a I'm just going to start showing you some pictures. Okay, everyone. So there's lots of questions. I know. Just bear with me. I want to show you. So this is when I'm loading. Before I started loading the feeders. So you can see I put all the reels in the order I want them to be in, but I hadn't loaded anything onto the blue or white yet. It took me about 6 hours to load all of those reels in. You got to do them one at a time, and it's really fiddly. Some of the reels come with tape extenders that let you feed them back to the blue and white things, and some of them don't. But it was really difficult. So the first thing I got was here, the alignment for I kept getting these issues. Okay, just make sure everyone can see what I'm doing. So underneath that head here, there's a button. Look where look where it's going to place it. It's going to place it off to the side. So that button, the front button, placed okay. But this button here was going to go off on the side, right? And it was going to look like this. So you see what it was doing? So every once in a while it would place a button sideways, or it wouldn't put it on the pads properly. Right? As you can see, some of them are slightly rotated, some of them are slightly off, but overall though, it just kept randomly just sticking buttons on the wrong spot. And so what it is the machine vision itself, when it looks up, the detection of the parts is just unreliable. And it's like I have to sit in the dark when this is running. Any light source that hits the camera completely messes with the machine vision. So I'm sitting almost in the dark when the pick and place is running, which makes it very hard to see what it's doing. And then it randomly placing bad parts like that, right? It's unexpectedly off. And so what it is, I'll show here, is that, and this is a shot of my Pico D4, right? So this is the machine vision. So what it does is just sometimes it just can't, the thresholds, it can't pick up the part correctly. So you can see here, it's picked up 3 rows of pads, but not the 4th one. And there's no ability to change anything Tabletronics on it. Like, that's the thing, right? It's not configurable. So what this does, look where the green crosshair is. It thinks the center of this QFN is where the green crosshair is. So when it places that down, it places it so far off the pads that in the case of the Tiny Pico, it actually knocks a whole bunch of caps away when it's placing them, right? So understand that this software is proprietary. You can't modify the software, and the machine's pretty much proprietary unless I pull all the hardware out. So there's no fixing any of this. It doesn't use IA LEDs, it just uses white light above, right? So the machine vision on this machine is pretty much useless. And machine vision is really important when it comes to really small parts, right? So that might not look like a lot out, but when you're working at 0402 level, that's more than the size of a pad. That's a part sitting on the pads or sitting completely off the pads, right? Now this is a known issue, and there are ways in software to tweak this, but, ready for this? The software, the changes that you make don't save when you exit the screen. And Charm High won't fix it, or because there's screens that we're not supposed to be accessing, right? Someone found out where these screens are. A red light won't help because it's lit by white light. The lighting system's inside the up camera. So I can put red light in the room, but it's still using white light. Like, do you understand? There's no ability to change this. I would have to pull the machine apart and replace all the lights inside and potentially firstly have complete downtime, potentially wreck the machine to try to find a solution for it, right? Now, to be clear, most low-end machines have this problem, right? I mean, it's so all the Charm Highs, even if I bought that $12,000 Charm High, it's the same software with the same camera. So I would have had the same problem. So someone asked me, someone commented before about why did I buy the machine that I said I was never going to buy? It was because when I really looked at it, when I looked at this machine, I looked at the next one up with the double feeders, and I looked at the 4-head unit, which is the one I really wanted for $12,000. They all run the same software, and they all have the same nozzles and cameras hardware. They all would have suffered from exactly the same problem. So I would have paid $12,000 for a machine that did no better in its placement than this can do. So I figured that if I'm going to have this problem, I might as well spend as little as I can do, right? Remember, this is all proprietary software, so there's no ability to tweak this. So so what I've basically done is turned off machine vision for all my part placement. Now, what you need machine vision for is every time you pick up a part, it picks it up slightly differently, right? Every time it pulls a part through the feeder and the pickup point, it could be, it could be exactly perfect, or it could be out, a percentage of a millimeter, or it could be out a millimeter. And so if you don't use machine visions, it can't correct itself. And so therefore it will place that offset when it goes down. What's interesting though is the pickup and placement position, even with that offset, is still more reliable than the machine vision. So I've actually turned off machine vision for pretty much all my parts now. The other problem I get with machine vision is sometimes it doesn't even pick that up. Sometimes it picks up something completely different, even on that image, and it completely wrecks my rotation as well. So it's completely unreliable. So, yeah, that's a problem with the machine. Not a problem if you're using 0603 or you're using if your parts aren't such fine pitch. but for fine pitch stuff like I need, it's a problem. So it's definitely causing me. Yeah, we'll get to what it means in a minute. So many comments have gone past. Do I need to go back? Total time to set up from scratch and even get quantity boards out versus just manual pick and place. Right, so I'll get to where I'm at now. Okay, let me just jump into where I'm at now and I'll go back and we'll ask the questions already later. Okay, so OpenPNP, so here's the thing. They've been working with OpenPNP to try to get it working on this machine. Let me just show you, wait, let me see what else I've got I can show you. I've got some videos, maybe. I don't know how well they'll play. Oh, before I do that, so they have not, up until or they still can't, sorry. Let me just change screens. I'm flustered because there are a lot of questions, I've got a lot to answer and a lot to say. Right, so Open Pick and Place still doesn't work with this because they cannot reverse engineer the head rotation. And as of officially last night, they've had 3 people working on it and they've given up. So they've got everything working except they can't rotate apart, which kind of makes it pointless, right? But as of last night, though, like I got an email overnight, someone else has worked on how to do 2 things. How to reflash the microcontroller in this machine with SmoothieWare, which is, I don't want to do, but they've also worked out how to take a SmoothieWare 5X board and swap the board out with a Smoothie board, which is something I would consider doing. And with the Smoothie board, I can then run OpenPNP on this machine. The problem is OpenPNP doesn't right now support shared cameras. So you can have as many cameras as you need, but it's one feed per camera. But this particular machine uses a shared camera system. It's one cable for both cameras and it switches between. So the guys that write OpenPNP still have to write support for a shared camera vision, which they're working on now and it might be ready in a few days or a week. I can't pull my machine apart right now and rebuild it to work with OpenPNP. What is the new model? This is the Charm High, so CHMT 36VA. CHMT 36VA. Look it up in Alley. Hey, Colin. So OpenPNP is out of my time range, unfortunately. It's good to know that they've got a solution. So it will mean hopefully that this machine will be better for me in the future. But for right now, if it's buffering, just refresh your browser. Just refresh if it's buffering, guys. Sorry. Let me just check the make sure that YouTube is not. No, they said health is good. There's no drop frames. Okay. So let me show you what videos have I got. And what other pictures have I got? Ooh. Okay, so this did actually happen. So by Monday afternoon, right, this happened. It was a late afternoon. This is about 6 o'clock in the evening. It took me it took me about 5 hours to load the feeders, and it took me all of Monday to get that board. But that board, let me show you another shot. Here's a shot of it after reflow. It tried to place my finger. Ha. Very funny. But here's maybe a slightly closer shot. So I'm just gonna, yes, it's a bit of a slideshow thing right now, but I thought you'd all like to see it. So, on Monday I got one panel out, and it took me all day. And here's the thing though. So did you find a workaround for the AIO? Maybe this pic. Hey, Imagination to from. Interesting name. So the thing with this panel though is that's not what it looked like when it came out of the pick and place machine. So firstly, it can't place the antennas. So as I mentioned, it wasn't going to be able to pick them up. So what happens with the antennas is it can pick up like 1 out of every 4 times. So the head sits there. Now let me just go back here. The head goes and it tries to pick it up, and there's suction detection, so it can tell if it's got it or not. So it's going and sometimes it grabs it, sometimes it grabs it and drops it, sometimes it grabs it, and because it's banging it, it twists it. So what happens is I had to stop using it because sometimes it placed it great, and sometimes it placed it on an angle and knocked parts off the board, and sometimes it just dropped it, right? I've also got it placing most of the USBs, but I've now stopped doing the USBs as well because the USBs have got slotted holes. So the problem is sometimes it gets it perfectly in the hole, and sometimes it's slightly off and it bounces it and it knocks parts off the board, right? So I'm now hand placing the antennas in USB like I thought I was going to. But here's the kicker. To form. Oh, sorry. Imagination to form. I apologize. Sometimes I think I'm dyslexic, but it's more that I just glance and look away. So I apologize for that. So that board, when it came out, didn't look like that. I had to go under my microscope and hand reposition at least 50% of the parts per board on the panel. So there's 15 boards on the panel, and there's 29-ish, 30 parts, actually 32 parts per board, including the antenna and the USB. I had to fix 15 to 16 of them per board, get them in the right position. Some were off the pads, some were twisted, the QFNs weren't even close. It was an absolute nightmare. How slow is the travel for bigger? It's the same speed for all parts. So now I'm running the machine at 50% speed, right? Just wait, CGA says. I'll get there. I'll get there. You might think this is a terrible experience, but you remember my yardstick right now is I can only build 10 to 12 boards a day by hand, and it's super stressful, okay? So in one day, I built 15. That was my first day, my first panel ever using the machine with a Tiny Pico, right? And I had a lot of fails getting up to this point, and I went through a lot of different parts, right? So far this is sounding really bad, right? And there's no machine on the market at this price point or under $10,000 that can do better than this. I'm just putting it out there right now. There is no machine, doesn't matter what you point me to, that can do better than this. That can do 0402 or fine pitch QFN reliably, right? If I've missed a question or something, please at me and ask the question again so I don't miss it. So, Tuesday came around. I thought, okay, Monday I nailed this. I worked out some quirks. Tuesday I'm going to see if I can build 4 panels. That's what I thought to myself. My first panel took me 4.5 hours on Tuesday morning. Why? Because 2 things. Firstly, the way the feeders work for 0402 is a real problem. So there are pins that get pulled on the tape, right? Does everyone know what... I've got lots of cut tape in here, all the excess, right? Let me just go to here for a second. Okay, so here's 0402. How close can I get? That's it, right? These are 0402 parts, and these are the pull pins. Now let me find something bigger. Okay, here's another example, right? I'll turn it the same way around. And here's another example. Okay, so this part here has got 2 pull pins per part. So you can see that there. So that means it's got a pull So you measure it by distance between components. So this component here is, and yes, they're WS2812Bs. These are 8 millimeters apart. So it's got to pull the pin, 2 pins, to get from part to part, right? This one here, although they're offset from the pin, these are 1 pin apart. They're 4 millimeters apart. So it does one pull on the pin to advance the feed to get to the next part, right? The 0402, there are 2 parts per pin. So the problem is it's using sub things. So it's got to pull the part, and then it's got 2 different pickup points, and it knows to pick up 2 points, and then it pulls the pin again. So this is what I didn't realize was at the end of a run, so at the end of that panel, and I didn't know this, all of my tape was out of alignment. And so I started my run of my first panel on Tuesday, and none of my 0402s were picking up. And because they weren't picking up, because the pin holes weren't in the right spot, it was missing pulling them, and it was spraying parts everywhere. And I'm talking about everywhere. 0402 parts are tiny, but when you've got hundreds of them all over the pick and place machine, you can see them, right? And so it turns out that before every run, after every panel, I need to go and realign and recalibrate every single strip that's 0402, well, every strip anyway to check it, but every single strip that's 0402, and reset up the pin head place in case it's out, and check that the pin fits inside the hole for every single feeder. Because, and I'm sure at some point in the future I'll be comfortable enough, out of focus, I'll be comfortable enough to do it by eye and not have to recheck it. Yeah, Adafruit's pick and place machine is $150,000. So, a little out of my price range. So I lost 4 hours not understanding what was going on, and a lot of time on my board, right? Is what paste? This machine's not OpenPNP. No, it's proprietary software. So I covered that before. So once I worked that out, and I wasted 4 hours, and I felt really deflated, I got my second panel out, and again, I had to go and hand fix all the parts, all the positions. Let me just go back to here. Right, had to hand fix them all, but I got a board done, and then I did a second board. I recalibrated and did a second board. So I got 2 boards out on Monday. So on the Sunday, I got 1 board out, 15 boards, and that's more than I can do by hand in a day. On Monday, I got 2 panels. So that's 30 boards. That's almost 3 times what I can do by hand, right? Now, on my second board for Monday, the whole time I'm running these boards, I'm tweaking position and alignment, right? Tweaking all the values about how it's panelized, right? What the positions are, because there's drift, there's offset. So what would happen is, if I just go back to here for a second, I should have, unfortunately I don't have a built panel I can show you that I haven't pulled apart already, right? But so what happens is you give it the definition for here, and then you tell it it's this many across by this high, and what the board size is. Now, when JLC PCB panelize their boards, they don't put any space between the V-score, right? So it should be the board dimensions across. The V-score eats in to the dimensions. Everyone is still an improvement. Right, 2 boards on my second day, for me, is way beyond what I thought I would do. I thought it would take me a week to get my first board out. I honestly did. Based on all the research I'd done, and based on all of the speaking to people before I bought the machine, everyone told me, be prepared to spend a week before you get your first reliable board out. And I did it on Sunday, right? I got the machine on Friday. So I'm pretty happy with that. What I found was, so if any of those values are out, then the further across this way, the further the offset goes. The further up, the further the offset. So Getting a perfectly reliable placement here doesn't necessarily give me a perfect reliable placement here if any of those values are out. And it turns out that the values that I put in the machine, and I measured them, obviously with my slide, I can't remember what it's called, my ruler, it's got a name, it's slightly out. The other thing the software doesn't do is it doesn't take into account the edge rails. So when it says this part is at this point here, it's expecting the edge of the board to be, like this point right here, to be at the edge of the holder, not the edge rails. Now I could pull the edge rails off, but it makes it really hard to put it in and out because there's paste everywhere and I don't want to smudge the paste, right? So everything gets offset by that edge amount. So it took me a long time to work out the exact figures, calipers, thank you, to get this side the same as this side. It took me till the end of Tuesday, right? So what it meant was on my boards on Monday that I had less fixing to do here and stacks of fixing to do here. Like the QFNs were not even close to being on the pads. They were on top of the other components over here. So, okay. So where am I at? By the end of yesterday, so yesterday I did 3 panels. So 45 boards. And my 3 panels did not take me all day. I could have done a 4th. It would have been a long day, like I would have been working till like 8 o'clock at night. But I could have done 4. I'm now at the point where I did 45 boards in a day. And it's painful. Let me tell you, when you take them off the pick and place machine, I've got to sit under my microscope and I have to review every part on every board and push them into place. And that has a problem, and I'll explain what that problem is. When you have a really tiny pad, oops, I need to go closer. This is as close as I can get. So here's an 0402 pad. Right, look, this one here. Upside down. Sorry. Go this way. Right here, there is a 0.1 microfarad cap. This little pad's here. Now here's the problem. When it doesn't place it on the right spot, and you have to shift it, shifting it isn't the issue, although there's a lot of work and shaky hands. The issue is that it smudges the paste. It pushes the paste around. Right? Now I can try to lift each part off and put it back down, but that's even more time consuming. And I do that sometimes, but by pushing the paste around, what it does is you end up with solder joints, bridges. You end up mixing paste between parts because they're all so small, right? So it takes me a lot of time to fix the positions of the parts. And even after reflow, I still have to go back and rework a bunch of stuff, a bunch of caps and parts that have shifted during reflow, right? Can it save the verification pictures? Well, there is, what do you mean? There is no verification pictures. I don't know what you mean by that, Neffers, sorry. Caps China PCBA is looking more attractive. Okay, I can't do China PCBA for Tiny Pico. Flat out, it's not an option, right? And it's not a cost thing. It's not even a testing thing, right? I would have had to order my PCBA for China last week. Actually, before that. The problem with China, specifically with my board, is it's a 4 to 5 week lead time. Plus delays, right? I don't have 4 to 5 weeks. I don't know how many to order. I would have had to order, like, I don't, like right now my campaign's slowed right down. Last week it was going great guns again. At this point I'm not even going to do 1,000 boards. Maybe not. I'm at 860 something. It's moved like 50 boards in the last week. That's it. I know I've got half the campaign to go, but at this point I might not even do 1,000 boards. I would have had to order boards from China a week and a half ago to make sure I got them on time. What would I have ordered? Back then I would have ordered 2,000 boards. That's my problem with PCBA. It's not an option for me, unfortunately. For some boards it is. Some boards it's 2 to 3 weeks lead time. Some it's 3 to 4. Unfortunately for me, some people were quoting 5 to 6 weeks. The best quote I had and the lead time was 4 to 5 weeks. but that's plus delays. So yeah, okay. So every board that comes off the panel, so every panel that comes off, I have to fix positions. I have to place the USBs and place the antennas. And then every time I reflow, when it comes out of the reflow, I then have to often rework pretty much every single board to fix a cap that's turned or something else like that, right? It's not a lot of work. It's very quick. But still, there's a lot of labour involved. But still, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm getting 45 boards a day done on my second day, Monday, Tuesday. On my Sunday, today's Wednesday. Hey, Maxi into R&D. So on Sunday, I got one board done. On Monday, I got two boards done. And yesterday, I got three boards done, and I probably could have gone a fourth. So what does that mean? It means that I should be able to knock out 45 to 60 boards a day, which is almost 6 times more than what I could do by hand. And the way my campaign's going right now, I can get that done in plenty of time. So the net result is, was it the right investment? Absolutely. Will it do what I need for the campaign? Absolutely. Is it way more stress than it should be? Absolutely. But is it worse than doing them by hand? God, yeah. It's like I still couldn't deliver them all if I did them by hand. Hey, Gavin. So the pick and place is my only option. So although, it's a frustrating process for me to do every day, and it takes my whole day, like 4 boards, like 60 boards, 4 panels, will take my whole day. And what I'm left with is no time to work on shields right now, and I'll solve that. I've also got Tindy orders coming in. Like I had to build and pack orders yesterday. I've got 11 people waiting for reflow masters, and I haven't built any reflow masters. Like I've got other external things I need to worry about as well. But for my tiny Pico, for the campaign, what? Should be able to fill your quota. Who? What? Oh, right. Yes, I should be able to. That's right. So right now, 12 solid days of killing myself will fulfill the campaign. Right? That's not bad. Like, to me, that's success. Am I disappointed in the machine? Sure. Did I know I was going to have problems with 0402 and below? Yes. I knew that going in. And as I said, there is no machine on the market that would not give me the same problem. A Neoden 4 will give me exactly the same issues, right? A Neoden 4 has it's got the same pickup problems and it missed pickup. It's got the same placement problems, and it's just as unreliable with fine pitch and 0402. And Neoden guys won't tell you that, but plenty of people that have got them will tell you the same thing. They take a lot of tweaking and finessing, and you get just as many unreliable placements from it. I think there's reasonable confidence now that you will sell 2,000 eventually. Word of mouth. Right, but again, there was no way I was going to risk doing that back then, right? There's no way I was going to place an order 1 week in from the campaign starting with China. And on top of the lead times, I still had to build 5 or 6. For 2,000 boards, I needed to supply at least 5 test jigs. There's $1,500 there and time to build them. And there's still other, and I always wanted to solve manufacturing myself. Like, that was one of my desires, was always to have a pick and place here that I can do the full manufacturing myself from here. Oh, hello, look who's here. Everyone say hi to, did I pronounce it Peter? I hope I pronounce it Peter. I apologize if I don't. Everyone say hi to Peter. Peter makes the icebreaker and other stuff. Yay! Peter is correct. Good. Sorry, that was so bad. I'm sorry to hear that those Chinese machines are not better than I expected. Yeah, your machine, I feel the investment in the quad is becoming unjustified. No, your machine looks pretty good, but you built that, right? I'm pretty sure that's your machine that you built. Oh yeah, we'll talk about yield as well. So for those that don't know, let me just, I'm going to do this. So I still haven't received mine, but that's okay. I get that you're busy, Peter. We're going to look at the... So amongst other things... Wow, I feel humbled to have Peter on my stream. Totally humbled. So this is Peter's campaign, which I backed. I backed the, this one. The Icebreaker LED panel driver kit with LED panel. So Peter made it's open source FPGA board that uses PMOD connectors and he builds a whole lot of accessories for it, and so everything connects via PMOD. For those that don't know, this is a PMOD connector just here. And amazing stuff, fully open source, and there's stacks of people in the community, including Mika, that's been working on stuff for this. It's really, really fantastic. And I love watching videos that Peter posts on Twitter of his pick and place machine running. Yeah, so there was some earlier revisions of them at SuperCon last year. Yeah, and there was a session that Peter ran. Yeah, Dave was there, Dave Darko, and he managed to get his hands on one, and I think he did the session. Who's on? Is what? Is who? Go. Oh, right. Go PPM. Oh, is that... So is your machine not... I thought your machine was a custom build. Oh, is this your machine? Right, okay. So what are one of these worth? See, all new names in the chat today. I'm sorry if I haven't said hi to you if you're new. Hey, Bruce. I'd love to know what one of these are worth. Probably a bit more than what I could afford at the time. Yeah, so there's new Chinese machines. The Chinese machines, they're not great. The proprietary software isn't great. Are they fast? Yes. Could they be improved with OpenPNP? Absolutely. You can buy a decent car for the machine with feeders. Right, that's the point, right? Super expensive. Yeah, as I said, even the Neoden. Hey, Gordon. Easily a record number by my count. What are we missing? And hello, Reverick Cyborg. What's stopped you from building your own pick and place? I don't have time. I need to be producing boards right now. Like I didn't want to buy like a light placer or something in a kit form and build it because it was just they're very slow and again unreliable. 0402. I don't have the skills to build my own, and I don't have the time. And even if I built my own, most people's machines that they build themselves can't still do the super small stuff. Like for me, it was about I need to be able to do 0402 and smaller, not 0201. But I've got SOT 883 on there, which is really hard to work with. And I need to be able to replace them reliably. So building my own was not an option. So anyway, if you haven't seen Icebreaker, if you're into FPGAs, go check it out on Crowd Supply. It's pretty awesome. Well, I think it is. As I said, I still haven't got mine. Buy a Manicourt machine. Those costs the same. Right, so a lot of them have proprietary software as well, which is just a problem. It's really slow to get things fixed. Or in the case of like Charm High, they're really reluctant to make any changes or improvements to the software, even though there's lots of people that have been asking them to fix it, right? Let me see if I can find you some footage of the machine running. Okay, so looking at the last white tape. Hang on. No. In the middle of the camera view. That's me talking about a problem. I'm trying to see what I've got here. I've got some stuff on my phone. I might be able to copy over. Sorry if I've missed any. Brian's beardless, and I'm growing my beard. It seems. I can't believe I've got no videos here. Let me see if I can copy some videos from my phone over so I can show you some stuff going. Okay, let me just... Bit unprepared, it seems. Okay. Let me see if this is going to let me airdrop it. See on Mac Mini. Yes. It's going to take some time to copy over, and I'll show you. I don't know if the audio will work, though. It probably won't. G5. Oh, Spencer Owen at Maker Faire, Berlin. Okay, it's copying over. Received. No, it's still copying. Downloads. Right. So this is time to get Yaz in as a chat PA. Yeah, no. I don't think so. She'll just take over the whole chat. Okay, I don't know if the audio will work on this. I don't even know how it'll look. Let me see if I can... this is just... It's only 56 seconds. This is obviously placing Tiny Pico. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, so that's running at 50% speed. I could run it faster. I'm just worried about the reliability of it. I'm not prepared to try that yet. You can see over here some parts. Wait, I took a photo last night to show you guys. You're gonna laugh at this one. I'm just gonna copy this over as well. So the other thing with it as well is I do have to do the head swap. So I do all the small... There's two different nozzles on here to handle all the small parts. And then when the whole panel's done, I then take off the two nozzles and I put two bigger nozzles on. And then I do the QFNs and the charge IC. And I was doing the USB, but can't do that now. Run it slower. I can't run it slower than 50%. If you run this machine slower than 50%, it starts becoming unreliable on its placement. They make it very clear, don't run it below 50%. So it is very cool. Your ears will tune in really quickly. Well, no, if there's any errors, it stops. Like, it's pretty good with its error detection. So it uses suction to detect whether it's got a part or not, but it can't do that with 0402. If it doesn't pick up an 0402, because they're so small and the way it works is it can't tell the difference, right? So unfortunately, 50% of the parts, 60% of the parts on the board are 0402. If I was using Vision, it could detect that it doesn't have it, but the problem is the Vision is so bad that it misplaces them, so I can't use Vision. For the larger parts, it can detect if it doesn't pick it up, and it goes beep, 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 and it stops. What's nice is I can stop it at any point. I can go back. I can tell it to place an individual part. I can go back, and so quite often I'll notice that a part is missing from a couple of boards because it mispicked them up. So I can go back and tell it to replace those parts on the steppers or any... I guess the machine has no feedback on the steppers or any in-flight vision. It's got in-flight vision through the top camera, but it's not machine visioned, which is kind of pointless. It's only used for calibrating the boards. Um, yeah, on 402 you can't hear the difference when there's a part, when there's an part picked up or not. It sounds identical, unfortunately. For the larger parts, yes, I can hear a difference. So what's interesting though is, so by my second board yesterday, it was running and I was sitting at my bench working. Like I started it, it ran a whole board, and even though some parts were missing, which I went put back afterwards, it ran a whole panel, and my third board also ran a whole panel. And my third board only had one part missing. It had one cap on one board missing, one microfarad cap. My second panel had like 3 parts missing. So I'm at the point now with the small parts that I'll just start it and let it go. Can you load wheels larger than 8 millimeters? 8 larger than 8? You mean width? It's got 22 8 mil and 4 12 mil, 2 16 mil, and 1 24 mil feeder tape. So yes, it's got 29 feeders. Wow, lots of questions going. I guess the machine has, my machine has glass scales as feedback for the axis. Yeah, look, this is not even using steppers. This is using servos. It's a closed loop servo. So, I mean, technically servos can move faster than steppers, but I would think that steppers are much more reliable. Even though it's closed loop, I would think that steppers would be more reliable. Hey, Matt. It is starting to be useful now. Like, as I said, I got 45 boards yesterday, and my yield, here we go. So, my first panel I made, my yield was, so it's 15 boards. I got 12 working boards and 3 boards that didn't work, and I recovered 2 of them. One of them has a 3-volt failure on it, and I've swapped pretty much all the parts on the board, and it's still got a 3-volt failure. I'm thinking it's a problem with the PCB. There's no short on the PCB, but I cannot resurrect that one board, right? So I got 14 out of 15 working boards. My second, and since then I've had 100% yield, 100% yield rate. I forgot the word. So I currently got 89 boards out of 90. Thank you, Brian, for whatever that was for. It's good to have mods. Right, okay, yeah, so I can't, mine doesn't scan the part while moving. Like, this is it's pretty low tech, right? But it's working. Like, at the end of the day, it was the cheapest option I had, and I'm gonna ship the boards. And that was it, right? Had I bought, like, it would have been nice if I had the next version up that had the 2 feeders, the double-sided feeders, but then I would have had no option of going open PNP in the future. Or actually now maybe I could have, because I could have swapped the smoothie board out, the board with a smoothie, right? So at the end of the day, I still have to rework boards, and you know what? That's just the way it is. I don't really have a choice. It's not like I'm having to pull parts off the boards and replace the parts. I'm just having to tweak positions, and stuff. And so, like, it's, you know, it doesn't take me long to rework a board. Modern pick and place machines use linear servo motors. Oh, do they? Okay. See, I didn't know that. I thought it would have all been high-speed steppers. I don't know. So the heat change is pretty fast now. I thought that was going to be more of a pain than what it is. I've got up on my wall the different head numbers and different parts. Like, I'm starting to, like, I've got everything in front of me, so it's easy to change stuff. I've had a lot of practice reworking boards, yes I have, and building boards, and so I'm quite comfortable working at 0402, obviously. So for me, reworking the boards is super easy. Like, it's yeah, it's a no-brainer. I got no problems doing it, and as I said, it's not like the boards are broken. It's not like the boards have to be fixed. I just have to tweak a few positions on something because of the smearing of the paste. Yeah, but those most expensive, most accurate ones are also $150,000 to $500,000, aren't they, Peter? I mean, I'd love something that big and that crazy. If I missed any questions or anything, sorry. Wow, an hour talking about pick and places again. So it's officially a success. There's a lot of manual work still involved with it, and I knew that was going to be the case going in. I always said to myself that if I have to swap a day of pain doing it by hand for low yield, for low numbers, with a day of pain having to fix what the pick and place does for high numbers, I'll do that. My ultimate goal would be a pick and place machine that is 95% accurate, and I could do 200 boards in a day, but I don't need 200 boards in a day. This is what it's turned out to be everything I expected it to be. And I was hoping to be maybe, surprised that my expectations were lower than than they needed to be. But it turns out it's not. It turns out my expectations were exactly right on. And that's because I did a lot of research, right? I did. I mean, obviously I've been talking about pick and places since I started my channel, as most of you know. But I've done a lot of research on pick and place machines and a lot of research on these machines. And so I knew exactly what I was getting into. I was hoping. But what I didn't realise was I was going to be able to excel in it so fast. Like, I didn't think... Let me see if I've got any other footage. Oh, I want to show you that picture. Right. So check this out. Where'd the picture go? Oh, here we go. You'll like this one. This is the parts bin. This is the discard bin. So buying a pick and place is a bit like watching season 8 of Game of Thrones for book readers. I've never read the books, but I enjoyed season 8. I was sad when it finished. I didn't have an issue with the season at all. So I'm not sure how that relates to the buying the pick and place machine. I don't know. So that is a lot of wasted parts there. It's okay. What's good is they'll just go into my trays, into my containers, and I'll just hand make more tiny picos. Like, I'll use all those parts. It's not a problem. I think I managed to nerd snipe him to consider working on a flyover camera system. Oh, really? Interesting. I mean, he's curious to see what he ends up building. Like, he's still working on his. I mean, flyover camera system sounds really cool, right? So it's just the part on the fly. And I think, does the Smalls SMT machines do that? Maybe not. Maybe there was a different machine I saw that does that. Perhaps for your next project you can improve the pick and place. Yeah, there's not a lot I can do to this unless I, as I said, swap it out with a smoothie board and potentially run OpenPNP. But I can't do that obviously for this campaign. I need to just get boards made. So a lot of part position on nozzle will be measured while flying. Yeah, the whole idea of being able to calibrate the part position while the head's moving sounds fantastic. It's never going to happen with this one, unfortunately. And that's right. So Jerry's right. The more I'm using it, the more I'm tweaking it, the better my results are getting, right? I'm still having a lot of problems with the QFNs. What I've done, I've actually turned machine vision off now for everything. Again, for the 50% of the parts that place great with the machine vision, like for the CP2904, for instance, is great, but the 50% that don't place right completely place it. They place it so bad that I end up getting paste smeared on the board. So I've now turned machine vision off, and I know that every board I get, I'm going to have to nudge the QFNs, and sometimes I only have to nudge them half a pad width, and sometimes I have to nudge them 2 millimeters, right? But if I'm checking the board anyway, it adds, so my board gets built, and then I have to sit there for, it probably takes me about half an hour to fix a board before it goes in the oven. So the main issue with all of that, though, is what I call race the paste. Like, I've only got a certain period of time that the paste is technically good, but before I have to reflow it, as I've discussed many times, right? And like on my last stream. So from the second I put paste on the board and get it into the machine, I've only really got, I'd like to call it an hour maybe an hour and a half before it's got to be reflowed. And so the longer I spend sitting at my desk trying to tweak parts, the more chance I've got that the paste is going to, go bad. As I said, the good news is I'm using my stable at room temperature paste, which means it lasts a bit longer on the board. And so on the Monday morning, that board that took me the board that took me like 4 hours, like I reflowed that. Like the paste was sitting on that board for 4 hours before it went in the oven. And I expected to lose the whole board. But I wanted to finish the board because I wanted to learn everything I could from that board. And it came out of the oven and it reflowed perfectly. Like it was, and every board works. So I'm now feeling like I don't have this need to rush the paste anymore. Hey, John. There's also a desktop pick and place mailing group started by Nathan from SparkFun for these particular machines, and they discuss OpenP and P for this machine a lot. No, so this paste is pretty good because it's stable at room temperature. It lasts on the board longer than obviously once it's in the air. It's stable at room temperature with the lid on. You can't just leave it open, right? But yeah, I was surprised. I expected to have to throw that whole board out, but it didn't. If I was using paste that needs to live in the fridge, it absolutely would have killed itself. So I was very lucky with that. So did people notice the WS2812Bs on this picture? Whoops, on this picture. So, as I mentioned last week, one of the things that this pick and place can do is I can use that back area for ad hoc parts. I haven't got around to doing that yet, right? I know the pain of not having the parts be placed well on the board. Having to manually nudge everything is a nightmare. It is a nightmare, and it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. But to me, it's no more frustrating than hand building 10 or 12 boards a day. It's definitely less stressful than hand building 10 or 12 boards a day, and my yield's up, right? What temp is it? What temp is what? Yeah, everyone likes saying slumping, and it's set up to get it to work more reliably. I'm improving it all the time. It's getting better and better, but I don't, for instance, I'm not going to get the QFNs any better than what they are because I can't use machine vision, right? Until they solve machine vision. So it's low temp paste. I'm still using low temp paste. All my boards are going to be going out with low temp paste because I have to do so much rework on them. I just can't do the high temp paste. So valuable sharing all this journey experience. Cool. I hope, like, the reason I'm sharing it is so other people can learn, and it's not just about me liking the sound of my own voice, which I actually don't. Definitely not recorded voice. It's just there's a lot to learn from this, I think. Get a machine usable quickly. Hundreds of panels to learn. Right, and that's what I think. I think that by the time I get to maybe my 50th panel, I might have improved it another few percent, and that few percent might stop the 0402s from twisting sometimes, right? Every part I don't have to fix is an improvement for me. If I still have to look through every single part under my microscope, but if I'm not having to fix them, if I don't have to have shaky hands and whatever, then it's, I'm also improving my stencil skills as well, like getting the stencil perfect. So I had never, you got to remember that I've been stenciling one at a time. I've only ever built them one at a time. I'm now stenciling a panel. Stenciling a panel of tiny picos with this type of registration, right? If the stencil is slightly out, then I might get a perfect paste here and a completely missed paste here. So stenciling is stenciling is probably 70% of the challenge. Perfect registration on your stenciling is more important than perfect placement of the part. Because if you've got perfect registration on the stencil on your board, then a lot of parts will move into place with surface tension when it reflows. If the paste is half on or half off the pads on an 0402 part, then even if I reposition the part, the paste is in the right spot and it's just going to pull the part sideways. So I have these 3 boards here. These all got the paste wiped. I wiped the paste and I put them aside. I didn't even repaste them. And I'll tell you why I didn't repaste them yet. Because when I wipe the paste off this, unfortunately, I get paste inside these pads in the USB holes. You see here? There's paste in there. And when wiping it off, see I get deposits of paste in the header holes? So what I do is if I have to wipe the paste off this board to start again, then what I do is I wipe it off, I give it a clean, I put it aside, I wait for the paste to dry, and then I have to clean all this stuff out before I reuse the board. So that's a real pain in the backside. Be one of the first to get open PNP treatment is clearly a popular machine. Right, well they've been working on it for like 6 months or more, or a year. The problem is they could never solve the rotation. And they still haven't solved it. Paste in hole construction is a thing. Yes, paste in hole construction. You mean getting the paste in, like, you're talking about what I just showed? This is a real pain. Can you clean them out? I probably could, but I don't want to. It's too much time. Like, now that it's dry, I'll do this now. It's going to make a mess. Bad idea. But now that this is dry, I can get my brush and do this. Watch. See that? All the paste comes out. See it's all coming out? Right? So it's not a problem. I can get these perfectly clean. I just have to wait for them to dry. Yes, you put paste in the hole on purpose to solder the legs using solder paste, then manually by hand. Sure. What I don't want to do though is, no. Because the boards are Enig, like any paste, if there's any paste on the headers and I reflow, it turns the headers silver, which I think just looks yuck. So cleaning them's easy once the paste is dry. Right, I could also use a compressor and air gun. I have a compressor, but I don't have an air gun attachment to it. And it's in the garage. I've thought about doing that. I might get an air gun to do that, but it's just as easy to let them dry. There is no paste dispensing option for this type of machine. You can get paste dispensing option, but they're useless for 04, 02 parts, or for less. So you got to remember, look at this. Oh, I need to see how close I can get. I'll see if I can get this in focus. Please focus. Right, so look at, which one am I looking at? Look at, right here. Look at those two little tiny pads. Those little two tiny pads are a quarter the size of a pad of an 0402. You can't get a solder paste dispenser that can do that. Not a chance. Look at the size of the pads on the LDO. Look at those little pads. There's 5 pads there. 2 of them are joined. That's the ground. There's no way a machine can paste that. Like a proper stenciling machine can, but not, they're $20,000. I don't have $20,000 to do that. So yeah, look, so the pick and place journey has been crazy. Let me just go back to this. So I was just talking about this. So what I did the other day was I had an order for a Wi-Fi clock come in, and I had to hand assemble it because I didn't have any finished. And so my Wi-Fi clock has got, this is an old board. That's okay. This is not the current. It's close enough. So my Wi-Fi board has got obviously a whole bunch of, in this case, SK6812s on there. And there's a whole bunch of, there's a mixed parts, but there's a whole bunch of 10K 0603 resistors as well. And I have both of those two parts loaded on my machine. Why do I have LEDs on my machine? Because they're 12mm tape. I've got black and white ones loaded. Because I've got no other 12mm parts I can put on there, and they were empty. So I put them both in there, not even thinking of this. And so when the order came in, I thought, wow. And so I put my board down, I exported it, put it down, and did all my RGB LEDs and the 10K 0603s on my machine. How cool was that? I just exported the file from Eagle, stuck it in, and ran it. And then I just hand placed the rest. So half my parts were done by the machine. I can do that with any board. Like I can take any of my panels now, any of my shields. So like for instance, these buttons, and there's a whole bunch. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. There's 10 10K 0603s resistors and 5 buttons. I can put a panel of these in there and at least place those parts for me, right? Even without doing the ad hoc stuff. Like if I do the ad hoc stuff, I can place more. But even without that, I can save myself a stack of time. It's about standardizing on parts. Unfortunately, you know, most of the parts in there are 0402, and I'm not doing any 0402 on my shields. But I can, you know, these panels, I can just build them now on the machine. And my other shields, I can build some of them on my machine, which is pretty cool. How much did your pick and place cost? It's about 4,000 US, including shipping. It cost me about $5,500 Australian landed. And it's a machine I can use going forward now. Printed G to get the perfect registration of the stencil to the panel. Yes, except right now I've had to get a new stencil because the stencil I'm using, I accidentally, I don't know why, I got the stencil 120 by 120. It's working. It's 120 by 120. It's too small. I've got a new one coming that's 180 by 180. What it means is I'm having trouble loading paste on the stencil to be able to stencil with it. There's not enough room around the edges, right? I'm getting paste everywhere. So when I get my new one, so right now I'm just doing it like this, right? That's just an old board in there. But when my new one coming, which is it's still being manufactured at the moment. I've got a PCB order coming maybe into this week or on Monday. It'll be a larger stencil, 180 by 180, and then I'll 3D print a new jig for it. This is terrible, as you can see. So interestingly, the stencil came bent, and I got 50 PCB. Oh, I've got dramas. Boy, have I got dramas. This is not bashing JLC PCB, okay? I'm not bashing. All my boards they're bent. Ever so slightly. I always put my paste on the screen. Right, that's what I've started doing. I've been putting it on my. This is my squeegee. I don't have one like yours. I've been meaning to go to the hardware store. I've been using this for so long. I'm comfortable with it. I'm now loading my paste on here, and I'm pasting. Sure. And I'd already ordered the new stencil already. I ordered it last week before I'd even made this. So as soon as I saw I got the wrong size, I ordered a new one. Turns out I probably didn't need to. But I still need to solve this, and even if I tape it in all directions, it still bounces in the middle, right? But check this out. Look at this. My boards, you might not be able to see. My boards are bent. So, I don't know why, but there's a bow to the boards. It's a pretty bad bow, as far as I'm concerned. You might not be able to see. You might be able to see. Which is also a problem on the pick and place machine. But what I did was, I have a 3D printer, so I built this. So it took me a lot of revisions. I've got about 6 of these lying around. Well, no, I've never had bent boards before. So this board here, this is from my previous batch, perfectly straight. I've never had a bent panel. And I have 50 of these panels, and they're all got a bow in them. But they've got another problem as well, and I'll get to that in a second. So what I did is I built this, and it took me 6 revisions to get the perfect layer height. Because I couldn't, I was measuring it obviously with my calipers, but it's not accurate enough. I kept adjusting it by point, my print is 0.2. I could have done it 0.1, but it's obviously, it really slows down my printing. So what this does, this sits inside let me see if I can show you a shot. Okay, so if you can see just in the background here, these 2 lines, the rods, They go all the way through. So I was using acrylic underneath, but what I did is I designed this, and this sits on those rails, and it's the perfect height to hold my board perfectly flat, and there's no, because like it's designed to stop the board from bending when it's placing down, and it's the perfect height, and now what it does is it straightens my boards when they're in there and it keeps them straight. But that was a real pain. But something else happened on these boards, and I don't know why. And it's too late for me to complain to one of two in the batch. Really, the whole batch. No, well, so far this whole batch is bowed. The whole packet, the heat shrunk packet, is bowed. Yeah, and I don't know why, but they all are. So, there's a problem with these with my USB. The drill holes, so the little peg legs, so there's wow, I don't know how to show this. Focus. So there's not only the pegs that go in, but there's also the little plastic holes for registration go in here. These drill holes are too small. It's exactly the same Gerbers as this, right? It's exactly the same Gerber. They just reran the Gerbers. These drill holes are slightly bigger, this is a previous batch, than these. And what it means is my USBs don't fit in them. You ready for this? So when I get a USB, let me get one. So when I place the USBs on the boards, when I'm assembling the boards, right, the little feet are not in. I can't get them in. So what I have to do is I have to hot air them in. It melts the plastic on the feet, and the feet then go in. And because if they don't fit in, what happens is the tabs don't touch the solder at the back here. They sit high, and I didn't even know. Yeah, you're 100% right, Peter. Like I get total inconsistencies with all my panels. Total inconsistencies, right? Like check this one out. So I spent like the whole day calibrating my panel, yeah, on the machine. So that's the old one. How am I going to tell the difference? I have to be careful. Old one, new one. The boards are not the same measurement. These boards, this way, are 0.5 millimeter shorter, my new ones. So when I put them in, look, you can see here on the side, can you see the gap? Maybe you can't. Let me see if I can put something next to it so you can see. Can you see that gap? They're about 0.5 millimeter or more out. So when I load them in the machine, all my registration and calibration I did for the parts placement, everything was off 0.5 millimeter. I had to go and recalibrate the whole thing again. They're exactly the same Gerbers, right? But the boards, the panels are different sizes. Oh, anyway, I've had lots of dramas, but I'm still making boards. So there you go. This is not designed to be I know it sounds like I always complain. I tell you what, I feel like all I ever do is complain. I'm not complaining. Like I'm not, because I'm making boards. Having these little things pop up are frustrations. Like the frustrations that you don't expect. I don't expect when the PCB house runs my same files. Like I've got another batch of 50 boards, so 700 Tiny Picos coming. They're being made right now, right? So I'll have that'll give me 1,600 Tiny Picos I can make of PCBs. And I feel like when the fab house is running exactly the same Gerbers for all three, I should get exactly the same results, but I don't. You've not listened to my streams. I can totally relate to all of this. I used to watch your streams and your videos. I haven't been watching any YouTube recently. I watched some of Julian's this morning because I was awake really early. I got to the point where he was playing the sounds. I didn't even get to finish it. I'm just not watching any videos these days, unfortunately. There are manufacturing tolerances for everything. I know there are, but I've got I've built a lot of Tiny Picos, like boards and panels and gone through a lot of revisions, and I've never seen that inconsistency on a panel because I've never worked at the panel level before, so that was new to me. Lesson learned. I just need to go whenever I get a new batch of boards, I'll have to put it in the machine. I'll have to check my calibration. That's all. Instead they changed the size of the holes in the tiny picosens. Thermal pad. No. They didn't deny it. No. So they absolutely changed my... Right. So just to be clear, JLC PCB, along with most houses, will not use your cream layer for your stencil. They just won't. Doesn't matter whether you provide it or not. They all have their own standards for all the different parts, and when you give them a board, they look at the board and they will put the correct pads for what they think is the right standards for manufacturing, for doing manufacturing in China, for instance, right? So like JLC PCB have manufacturing. They do, it's only for Chinese market right now. They do short run manufacturing, right? They have a lot of experience with doing PCBA. So they have a lot of experience with the right size pads and footprints for stacks of different parts, as do most houses that fab PCBs. So unless you explicitly tell them that they must use your cream file, they don't pick and choose. They do the whole cream file from scratch for the stencil. You have to specifically tell them to use your own. That's why the pads were changing. They didn't deny it, right? I thought they were just ignoring my changes. They weren't. They weren't using any of my cream file, my layer, right? For those that don't know, the cream layer is the layer that says where the paste will go through. That's what makes the stencil. So I had made custom footprints for a lot of these parts, and they were never used. Oops, not the one. For a lot of these footprints, and they were never used, right? That they put their own on. So I didn't even bother making them use mine, because my concern was, well, great, what's if I don't know what they change. I don't know how their footprints are really different to mine, because they're so subtle. Like, all I've got is a stencil to compare it to. So my concern was, if I made them use mine, it might improve some parts, but it might make some parts worse, because my version of the footprint is not as good for manufacturing as theirs. Does that make sense? I don't know how much more work it is for them or not. I just, that's what they do. Don't bother with Chinese stencils. So Osh Park won't do my stencils. Well, they won't even do my boards. My tolerances for Osh Park are way out of spec. It would have to be something completely custom with them. I'm using pretty much the maximum tolerances that JLC PCB will do, and their tolerances are way finer than anyone else that I found. I know not Osh Park, Osh Stencil, I know that, but they still, it's the same, from my understanding, it's the same requirements for their parts. I don't know. I guess I could look into it again. I don't know. Yeah, Mylar's fine. I can't laser cut stencils for this. The pitch is too fine. So yeah, it's not an option for me. And I'm fine with like buying stencils. They can make much finer stencils than Osh Park. Okay, cool. I'll look into it, Peter. Thank you. I didn't know that. I know that when I was looking at getting boards made, I spoke to a lot of different people other than JLC PCB, and I'm out of spec for everyone. I mean, there's some board houses that will make them and they'll charge me a premium for them because they're out of their spec. What are you planning when you finish with Pico campaign? Oh, I'm not even thinking beyond that right now. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking beyond Tiny Pico right now. I've got an idea for an alternate version of Tiny Pico, which I'm not going to go into right now. Like same size and same footprint, but different. But I don't know. We'll see. Mylar's fine for 0201. Mylar might be, but laser cutting isn't. There's no way you could laser cut. Well, I can't. On a 40 watt or an 80 watt, I can't. No matter my settings, I can't get I can't even get like 0402 reliable at all. Yeah, Osh stencils. Yeah, I mean, obviously Osh Park, like it's the same company, right? They, and Osh Stencil supplies their stencils for their boards, but you can obviously order them directly. Unrelated company? I thought they were together. Okay, well, I didn't even know. I thought they were one and the same company, but they're obviously not. Um, so did I miss... I'm sorry if I've missed questions. I must have missed questions. I must have missed comment. None of us making you want to get... No, well, you don't have to buy a pick and place machine. And you're not working 0402, Julian. Do you know how big a 1206 part is? Hang on. I must have some somewhere. Somewhere. Here we go. Here we go. I've got some... I don't know why. I've got some... Look at that. That's a 1206 resistor. I'll put that next to my pads of the 0402s. Hang on. There you go. That's next to an 0402. Like, look at the size of that thing. It's massive. Easy to hand solder. This is totally making me want this pick and place machine. Haha. You've done... Okay, you're right. So you've done... so what's the problem? 1206 is awesome. Right, sure. I'll write a 5, and even 0603. I can hand solder 0603, no problem. I mean, not with my normal eyesight. I need to look under at least my magnifying glass, but sure. But yeah, not 0402. And there are people that can hand solder 0201, which is just nuts. 0603 is hand solderable, yes, but you know, unless you've got perfect vision, you'll still need a magnifying glass at least, I think. Do better sense if you ask. They're like middle person. Bison gets... Yeah. Yeah, I don't... Like, I was going to... I need to do these. I'm going to actually do some through-hole soldering right now, I think. I need to put these aside and put this back because I need to keep them in the right piles. I've got a whole bunch of these to solder, and I thought I'd do these on... I didn't think I was going to talk so long about my pick and place again. So happy to answer any more questions about the pick and place. But it absolutely was the right investment for me for the price. I 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh god, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I just don't enjoy doing through hole. Just getting my soldering iron out. I'm going to do some soldering. But before I do some soldering, I need to do some cutting of headers. And I need... Does everyone remember this? Where's my mouse gone? Oh! Anyone want some... You watched me spill them by accident. Anyone want some 10-pin female headers? Oh my god, it's so heavy. It's nuts. So I need 24 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and there's one on the floor. I dropped one on the floor. There it is. 24! Hey Alan, morning. What are 0804s? Okay, I have some hand soldering in front of me too. Need to solder the headers LED panel. Yeah, I've been watching you on Twitter, dude. Those P-mods must be such a pain to solder. Like, really a pain. Mail headers, anyone? Oh, so many. Now, I could have bought these pre-cut to size, but it's just way more expensive to buy them that way. Thanks for joining, Peter. I really appreciate you jumping in the chat. Hope my assembly goes fast. Yes. I hope yours goes fast too, so I can get my board. You pre-cut them into 7s. Yeah, no. I don't even like pre-cutting my own. I get Yaz to cut them these days. Catch you later, Peter. Oh, you're going to keep listening? You're just going to have me waffle in the background? 11 PM in Mordor. Whoa! Peak concurrent, 153. What is going on? My record was 97. Where did all these people come from? 153 peak concurrent. Holy moly! Brian, your hand soldering as well? Holy moly. Yeah, Yaz has been doing a lot of manual work and she's got stacks more to go. And wait, so for those that don't know, Mick Make did his last roundup video. He showcased the Tiny Pico and my Reflow Master, which is why I've got so many Reflow Master orders coming in, which is great. Thanks Mick. But he soldered. he thought these were guides, not feet, and so he soldered the headers on this side instead of this side. Right now, when I ordered my second batch of these, which came last week. I'd already thought about that problem, and so my second batch of boards have that on it. Can everyone see that? Bottom side. So you know which is the bottom and which is the top. I wanted to keep the top clean. I didn't want to have branding on the top. I thought it would be nice to keep it clean. So, yes, the voiceover at the start of his video is funny. So he soldered on backwards. So you ready for this? Hang on. I can't. Anyway. I have got. Oh my god! We've built. Yaz has packed 150 of them in here. They're already bagged and sealed. 150 and another 50 as spare stock. Because right now, like I've got my limit to 150 on the shield packs on the campaign. But my expectation is I'm going to have to lift it to 200, right? So she's already packed 200 of them. And 120 of them are the original boards. And the rest are the new ones. She's going to have to go and open up every single pack and find all the old ones. And I'm going to get her to stick a sticker on the bottom that says, this is the bottom. So people don't solder them the wrong way around. Technically, it shouldn't make any difference. But the traces I use for the like for power and ground and stuff is different to the traces I use for the it still probably doesn't make any difference. Anyway, I'm going to get her to open them all up and re-stick stickers on. Poor Yaz. Poor Yaz. I feel really bad, but it's got to be done. Going to attempt upside down reflow in an upcoming video. I'll definitely give you a shout out if it works. Cool. I do upside down reflow all the time now, for my RAM. So by the way, the 90 boards I've built so far, minus the one that doesn't work. See, 89 boards. They've all gone through the first testing. They all obviously work fine. None of them have RAM on them yet. I still have to do RAM, and RAM I'm going to do one board at a time. So what's 846? Oh. Are you giving me a number of how many Tiny Picos? Sorry, my nose is running. I need to, don't know why. Maybe because it's freezing in here. Again. What? 8:46? Okay, hang on. No. Really? Wow, almost at 25,000. I mean, it slowed right down, right? And it happens. I need to get another update out. It happens. Like, I'm in this slump, but I've got more than half the campaign to go. I just feel like it's taking forever. 1K production run for the win. Well, I need to be making more than 1,000 of them, Peter, for what I've invested in parts. I mean, I bought 2,000 Pico D4s, which was rather expensive. So I'd really like to be doing, like, my break even for the whole campaign is higher than 1,000 boards. So I really need more than 1,000 boards. You know, if I don't break even, I don't break even, but I'd like to. I most likely will be ordering once. Thanks, Ben. So the other thing I don't know if it's going to make any difference or not. Like, the biggest hindrance clearly is the price point, because I think people are just, you know, there's stacks of people that compare it to boards from China, mass-produced boards from China, and they're not prepared to look at any difference between Tiny Pico and what they get from China. Like, they think everything's same, which is fine. You know, I had a lot of people challenging me on Facebook and off list about, you know, my prices, and I've had people getting me quotes on what it should cost me to make these and why I should be not charging so much. Like, yeah, and they've been completely wrong in everything they've done so far. But anyway, so I think price is a problem, right? But the other thing I think might be a thing is the shipping date. Like, I don't know how many people are put off by having to wait this long, you know, the July 25. And I've said it from the start, I really want to ship early. So it looks like, no promises, but it looks like my plan, now that the pick and place is here and I'm getting some yield out of it, it looks like my plan to ship early, at least, you know, maybe the first X many backers at least, is looking good. And I'm hoping if I can ship early, I'm going to have the perfect thing to answer them soon. To answer who? Wait, what? I feel like if I can ship early, if I can get ahead of the game, I'm thinking I'm going to reduce this ship time to an earlier date. And I'm curious to know whether that will encourage people to back it if they haven't. Like, I'd be curious to know how many people aren't backing it because of how long they have to wait for it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has no bearing at all. I don't know. Ignore them. I've gained a whole new level of understanding on the complexities of short-run production watching your videos. Thanks, James. And that's the thing. It's short run. People just, like, the curve on pricing is not linear. It's logarithmic. Like, the cost for a one-off, for one Pico D4 or for 100 Pico D4s, or, you know, or 1,000 Pico D4s or 2,000, like, the pricing discount doesn't even start until you get to 2,000. That's the minimum I can buy from Expressive. That's why I bought 2,000 of them on a reel. That was the minimum I could buy. And even still, the cost just for the Pico D4 is half the price you can buy a whole ESP32 development board from China with free shipping at 2,000. Are your panels all tested ready? All tested ready. What does that mean? Have I tested all the boards on the... What? Sorry, you want to ask that question in English? Like you two more than break even after cutting the pinheads and stickers, you should at least be able to take yours out for a nice meal. I can take her out for a nice meal anyway. Well, we got low standards on, you know, what we think's a nice meal. Schnitzel and chips for us is a perfect night out. Or Thai. I'll shut up and say it, I haven't ordered yet. I'm very hesitant and skeptical on how tax would work. Ever have I heard a company claim it. It's always the local customs. Sure, and That's fine, Christian. Like I'm also interested as well. Like you got to remember, this is Mauser now. Crowd Supply are owned by Mauser, so it's Mauser shipping the parts out. And so, like I'm fairly confident when they say that VAT and customs are paid, then VAT and customs are paid. But until it hits customs, you're never going to know, right? Like I can't tell you what's going to happen. So, you know, and I know that's a problem for some people as well. And it would be no different whether I was selling them or they're selling them, right? Shipping to EU is not cheap. If I'm like when I sell on Tindy, I'm not going to be shipping them for $5 to the EU with untracked postage. Not a chance, right? It's because all I need is one package to go missing, and I've lost 3 packages worth of costs. So, but it's going to be the same problem either way. There's no real solution for customs doing that. Yes, Mauser bought Crowd Supply, I don't know, a little while ago, 6 months or so, maybe it was longer. I'm not sure. So that's why a lot of their systems are transitioning. That's why I can't ship them. So I've mentioned this before, but the reason. So originally, when I signed up for this, there was an option for me that either I could ship or they could ship. But by the time I got the campaign up, there was no more I can ship. Right? It all has to be done by them, and a lot of it has to do with the export rules in America now, because it's an American company, and so when things are shipped from an American store, bought in an American store, even an online store, they have to go through all this compliance. It's just a pain. Right, and Ian's going to wait and get direct after the campaign. Sure, I get there are people also waiting afterwards. Totally get it. I have an expectation that I'll sell more after the campaign, even if I don't break even on the campaign. I'm not, stressed out by it, which is fine. Really do want to order 4-pack, but I'm afraid I'll get a $50 USD in $50 in customs. But why would it be $50 in customs for a $70, $80, $50 in customs for an $80 pack? Well, it's $8 plus shipping, I guess. But so what's that? $90. $88. Why would it be $50 of customs? Is customs that expensive in Sweden? Can't be. Wow. Set up an Irish chart. Yeah, that won't help. That, Brian, that'll, maybe for I'm not making enough money to even make a profit on them. Like, if I don't break even, and you got to remember, like, anything I make on these, I'm going to have to pay tax on. Like my local company tax. So, and that's 30%. So, the tax haven will help me for that, but that's about all. Now with a free Guinness. The Tiny Picos were resetting in my account. I don't know what you're talking about. Some reason I heard NASA. Yeah, NASA bought Crowd Supply. If you feel the Crowd Supply, their warehouse is registered, or how it's called, so no customs or tariffs are applied to the product until they are sent out. Wait, what does that mean? If you fulfill through Crowd Supply, their warehouse is registered. No customs or tariffs are applied to the product until they're sent out. Right, the issue is the sending out, though. But the people in EU are worried about getting hit at customs when they come into the country. You have confidence I'll sell my 2K eventually. I don't know if I'll ever get to 2K, but if I can get to 1,500, I'll be happy. If it was an EU registered company, so shipped within, then wouldn't be a problem. See, that's the thing. Like Mauser even have an office in Sydney. I'm sure it's just like a satellite. I think there are people there, mainly for support. Like, I'd be surprised if Mauser didn't have an office in EU. Like, they should be able to. I think they should be able to just shift the stock as an internal stock, right? I don't know. But there are smarter people than me working on the problem. But as far as Crowd Supply are concerned, customs, so VAT and duty should be paid for all EU people. But of course, what happens when it hits customs is a different thing. I don't know what's going to happen. Gavin, I spoke about that with Brian actually. I've spoken to Brian about redistributing before. The problem with that is crowd supply can't do that. They need to send out to each individual person, and I can't do it because I can't ship from crowd supply. In the future, when I'm selling myself, I could potentially ship Brian a whole bunch of stuff, but he's still likely to get hit for a massive customs bill when they come in. So, well, it's in writing on my thing, and it's like they've confirmed it. But again, what happens if they guarantee it and then it hits customs and customs say, "Bad luck, we're still going to charge you"? Like, they're not in control of customs. They are doing the right thing, but that doesn't mean that the person at customs on the day decides that not good enough. They're going to charge more. On the customs fees. Is the VAT. Right, but so Peter, I'm not sure if you're aware. Are we still taking orders for the tiny? Yeah, the crowd supply campaign's up. Here it is. It's still going. Got 23 days to go. Hello, S. Puzzling. So yeah, Peter, I'm not sure because your campaign started earlier, but as of now, my campaign's one of the first to have VAT and customs fees included for EU. The user doesn't pay anything extra. So, where is it? Deliveries to outside the US will have VAT and custom duties paid in advance. So your package will ship straight to your door and there's no need to deal with your customs office. And then it says underneath here, we added a note. So the documentation still states that it's the customer's responsibility because there are campaigns that are running still where it is the customer's responsibility. But I've had this confirmed that for my campaign at least, VAT and customs will be prepaid as part of the $9 for the shipping and should not be paid by the customer when it comes into the country. But I can't guarantee, there's no guarantees in life, right? I don't know what's going to happen once it actually hits. Actually, Michael, I'm not sure if when you post that, if everyone can see it, so I'll post again. I don't know what's going to happen when it hits, right? And I'm going to feel totally bad if anyone gets stung when it hits customs, when it hits their country. Like, I'll feel totally bad, but it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it, right? Crowd Supply and Mauser are trying to do the right thing, and I'm totally confident that Mauser know what they're doing because they're a massive company and they've been shipping globally forever, right? So I would hope that they know exactly what they're doing, but I don't know what's going to happen when it hits the country. So I'm hoping it'll be fine. I like design of the tiny Pico boards. I just don't have a specific use. Totally fine, electronics. It's not for everyone. Like I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. Not people don't have to buy the board. Like, you know what I mean. Like it's there for people that want one or can use one. Like there are plenty of people that don't need one. There are plenty of cases where a $10 Chinese board will do everything you need, right? Or there are other boards that aren't ESP32. Like it's totally fine. I don't want anyone to feel any pressure to back it. For those that have backed it just to support me, and I know there are many of you that have bought and don't need them, but they're doing it to help me. I honestly appreciate it more than I can say. Like I don't have the words for it, right? Minimum tier on my Patron is $1, and I don't have any tiers. It's all, no matter what you pay, everyone gets the same. So because I like the MSP. Thanks, Peter, and I appreciate that. I mean, people are supporting the campaign to support me, which is fantastic, and I honestly, truly appreciate that. And there are obviously people that are backing it because they want to use the board, which is great. But if you don't need one or you can't afford one or it doesn't interest you, that's also okay. It really, really is. You know, this needs to be a success on its own, not through the support of people trying to support me. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Yeah, yep, yep. Wow. Waffling. Back to the small maker making. Thanks, Morgan. I mean, there's a few of you, right? Again, Ian, I don't need one. Never stop you buying. Same with me. I've not even plugged in my first FPGA, and I'm pretty sure it's going to take me a long time to plug in my icebreaker as well. I'll get to it one day. I really want to learn FPGA stuff. Assuming company hires its own customs clearance company who clears customs and pays taxes. Okay, possibly. Yeah, so, yeah, Mauser obviously don't have their own shipping company. I mean, they use DHL, FedEx, whatever. But the amount they ship, like, they ship probably thousands of packages a day. Like, they've got leverage. They've got it's not like me having a DHL account trying to ship stuff. Yes, I know you love FPGAs, Electron Ash. The main reason to buy a certain board of projects people can imagine doing with that specific board. Right, this is what I intend to do with it, whether I end up getting there or not. I've got Saxa boards I bought with intent of doing something that I never have, right? That's the whole, what's the word? This is the risk of being a maker, not risk. I don't know what the right word is. You know what I mean? Like, we all invest in stuff that we think we're going to need that we don't ever use. Like 1206 parts, you know? Although Adafruit are very much targeted towards beginners, right? And, with their learning guides and everything else. So I think that there's a level of, okay, I need to, even if I'm not going to solder, I'm at least going to have to cut some of these up. I need to, yeah. I've got a lot of ESP32 boards as well. and A266 boards. You'd be surprised how many I've got. And I don't always use my tiny picos in my own projects. You know, it's I need a way of measuring 9. So I need 9 header pins here. So if I just get 1, and I'll measure against that, so I don't have to count. I hate counting. Okay, so I'm also to get 4 lots of 9, because these are 40. I end up with obviously 4 pins left. So I cut them into 2s. I use them in the audio shields. What? We hit 25? Yay! That's exciting. It just went over 25. I want to put a Tiny Pico on LED panel wall clock using the icebreaker to drive the panel and Tiny Pico for internet clock and wireless configuration. Awesome. That's cool. I'm back. Julian's back for the through-hole soldering. Right now it's just cutting headers, but it just went past. See, BitLooney's Pico VGA's gone up on Tindy. Yes. BitLooney's got a Pico VGA board for the Tiny Pico. People might have noticed Brian's Twitter feed. If you don't follow Brian on Twitter, you should follow him on Twitter. It's @WitnessMeNow. Brian, can you post your Twitter feed, your Twitter link? Everyone should follow him. He's been working on a project with a Tiny Pico. So he'll have 1 or more boards coming out on Tindy soon for that. I've got a tray with 5 80 chips in here somewhere that have never been used. Yeah, Julian's listening. He doesn't necessarily always type. He's just in the background, listens away. Or he nods off, goes to sleep. Yeah, Brian's been posting a lot about his Tetris clock, which is pretty cool, which might have something to do with Tiny Pico. Back the campaign because I felt invested after watching your streams. Thanks, James. Like, I get that a lot of people back in for different reasons, and I really... Whoops, forgot to go back to the camera. And I really appreciate it. I honestly do. I don't take compliments well. as many of you know. And I also am still totally, I get totally embarrassed when I get people, supporting me on Patreon or, doing super chat donations or even buying my products and, backing my campaigns. Like I feel, I don't know why, there's just a level of unworthiness I feel. I don't know where it comes from. I can't really recall where it is in my life that instilled that level of unworthiness, but I feel like that. So I'm totally humbled when people back my stuff and do stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah, I can't wait I want to see how fast your icebreaker can really run that LED panel. That's why I got the kit with the panel. I mean, the examples I've seen is super, super exciting. Unfortunately, the Tetris clock mat isn't done in MicroPython because we're still waiting on a driver for that panel. Hint, hint. You watch Brian's Twitter stream's going to explode with new followers. By the way, everyone, I've got a Twitter feed too, at Unexpected Maker. For those that don't know, I feel like my Twitter followers has been growing slower than anything. Some of it imposter syndrome. I had a long conversation to make about this. Yes. Well, I've had imposter syndrome my whole life, like with my game development. I had a very successful game development company, of which at least 50% of the games, 70% of the games we made, I personally made myself as a solo developer. Yet I constantly had imposter syndrome with that. And I know it's fairly normal. Like I know I've got a lot of experience with it, but it's still, when you're selling games and you don't necessarily get to speak to the other end of the people who play them, you get reviews or whatever, and you obviously get rewarded with money. It's very different to this. This is very, I try to be completely like transparent and open and, embracing of the community. And so it makes it's much harder because I'm actually speaking to real people and having communication and conversations with people. And so it really reinforces that imposter syndrome or the unworthiness. Like it's different because it happens live. Yeah, I got a stack of subs from David Watts when I first started up my channel, which was fantastic. I've had a lot of great support building my channel through a lot of awesome people like Brian, David Watts, Julian, like stacks of people. John Oxer, I'm probably forgetting everyone. Forgetting lots of people. Mick Make, Mick Hellstrom. It's been great. Like I really appreciate it. And I try to give back as much as I can. I try to shout out to as many people as I can, especially newbie channels. Not just newbie, but newbie channels, I think. Typing on phone. Oh, I couldn't imagine typing on the phone. I'm going to need more than that, but I'm going to start. Let's just start with that for now. I'm going to start doing some soldering. Because I promised Julian I would. Is David climbing again? No, he came back. He's released his video about his climb. But I don't know where he is. He's not here every week. Most weeks. Offer value to viewers and similar. It's not for you to say how much value. I understand that, Ian, but that doesn't change the way I feel. When that's just me. I don't know why. It's just me. By no means am I encouraging people not to support me if they want to. Right? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's super important to my channel and my journey. Like, I'm trying to build a sustainable business out of being able to, a combination of YouTube and making and selling stuff and sharing stuff and everything. Like it's something I really want. So I don't want to encourage people not to do it, but that doesn't mean that I'm still not uncomfortable with it. So I don't think anyone's actually seen me do one of these live. I showed it how it works the other day. But basically I load in these bits. I'm going to solder without my extraction fan, because yay. Trying to find a car cafe. And it's probably in the bath. David's always in the bath. I agree you feel how you feel. Might help to change. Oh, I'd love to change my perspective. I get it all logically, Ian. Don't get me wrong. I totally get it. But I still... Yeah. As I said, it's something I've fought with my whole life. The whole... Yeah. And I don't know where it comes from. Cat Cafe. Oh, Cat Cafe. Seen as my first ever Patron thing. Oh, thanks, Electron Ash. Appreciate it. Like it's the reason I removed my tiers in Patreon, right? And I do I've got the one tier for everyone, no matter what you pay, because I felt like the whole, like people are generous with their time and their money, no matter how much the money is. Like I didn't want to segregate them from that. So anyway, yes, it's going to be lots of fumies. Whoa, how's that? What the hell? That's really smoky. Okay, anyway. So these are a real pain to do, by the way. Let's see how close I can get. Let me see if I can get it a bit lighter. Sound fairly good, like a smartphone speaker. So did I miss something? Yes, flux fumes. Well, I don't have a choice, because if I turn the fan on, you won't be able to hear me talk anymore. Look at that, it's flux. Look at that spillage. That's disgusting. Did you ever get that board cleaned, Julian? Is what on? I don't have a smoke extractor. It's too loud. If I put that on, you wouldn't be able to hear me. Have you tried cleaning that board yet, Julian? Whoa, this is really smoky. Now, I can't do the top one. The top one here is ground. It's connected to the whole ground plane. So I do the second one. If I can get it. Right, and then take it out. And I have perfectly straight headers. And now I can solder the rest of them. It must sound like a Swede. We always strive for legom. Not too much, not too little. You've run out of ISO. I don't think you'll be able to clean it with ISO. Is that type of IPA? IPA is toxic. What, to breathe or to have it on your skin? I get it all over me all the time, cleaning stencils and stuff. So for those that are curious, this, especially about why the solder's so tough, not flexible, this is lead-free, low-temp solder paste. I've shown it before. I have a video half done about this and my solder paste from Zhufeng, which is this company. Zhufeng. And I've mentioned this before. Obviously, I'm not going to ship these boards with leaded solder, but I hate working with normal lead-free. Oh God, I'm breathing that right in. I'm talking. I hate working with lead-free solder wire. It's terrible. So they sent me a sample of this lead-free, low temp, and it's great. It's just really messy from a flux point of view, as you can see, but they're going to go through the ultrasonic cleaner, so that's okay. When I run out of foot, really, it's fine. Like for my own stuff, I'll gladly use leaded, but I can't ship. Well, it wouldn't be nice to ship everything. Like, you know, I'm going ENIG and I'm going, you know, I've got lead-free solder paste, and then I suddenly stick leaded solder on stuff. I'm pretty sure there's laws against that, isn't there? God, this is not fun to watch me do. This can't be fun, right? Okay, I always solder this ground one last, because it... Yeah, okay, that worked okay. 1 down. 11 to go. Except that first one is not good. There we go. Okay, 1 down. At least they're nice and straight. That's all that's important. What did I miss? Where do I get a sample of this stuff? So when the video comes out, I'll, if I ever get it finished, I recorded most of it, but I want to re-record something. Are you serious? It's relaxing to watch me solder? I don't believe that for a second. When the video comes out, I'll have links to where you can get it from. Well, links to them, because you can't buy it directly. Well, no, let me rephrase that. You can't buy it from their store, their website. But I've got a contact for you all, that any of you that want to have it, use it. After ordering a badge design that I'm going to make lead-free. So how many people here who sell on Tindy, I'm just curious, you don't have to say if you don't want to, how many people sell pre-constructed stuff on Tindy or anywhere, electronics, that has lead in it? Whether it's hassle, like you know, like you might use lead-free solder, but the board might be made with hassle, as in not ROHS hassle, because you're not doing it. I'm glad there's enjoyment from some of you. I am. I'm curious to know, like, you know, even if it was an oversight or if you just don't care. Like, obviously there's laws in the EU about it now, but I'm pretty sure at this level none of us need to worry about it. It's not like customs do testing. And I'm not judging at all. You know, I did early on, like a lot of my early stuff that I sold, I used lead-free everywhere, but it didn't occur to me that my boards were hassle. You know, so that negates the point of doing lead-free. Okay, I mean, if it's hermetically sealed, sure. So why did you do that, Pierre, out of curiosity? Why would you order it without lead, but then use leaded solder? Look, I'm just curious, that's all. Like, you know, yeah, like it's not judgmental at all, and I'm definitely not putting myself on a pedestal, because this is a quite expensive process. Like, so my next order of these boards, actually, I didn't even put ENIG on them. So once one of these boards is finished, you can't see any gold anywhere, right? Because it comes pre-assembled. Even the JST comes assembled. So once everything is soldered, there's no hint of ENIG anywhere on the board. So I don't understand why I paid ENIG. Like, ENIG's much more expensive, even from lead-free hassle. So my next batch of boards are back to hassle, but lead-free still. I thought part of the reasons not having lead was environmental after disposal. I'm not sure what the exact reasons are. Saw tweets of Jufeng, and I've been waiting for the info on how to get the solders. I don't require large amounts. Right, that's the thing. I mean, they Jufeng supply to manufacturers at large quantities. But I think they've offered a way, or they will find a way for people to be able to buy lower quantities. They understand that, when I was speaking to them about it, that my community obviously is hobbyists, and I think they're willing to help out, at least to get people using their product. And I have to say, it's weird because they've got their own formulas for everything, including the flux. I'm pretty sure it's their own formula. And so, I've been using their low temp and their medium temp solder paste on a few things, because I can't really review it unless I'm using it. And it's really, really good, and it reflows really nicely, but it's really sticky and tacky, and it's got a really weird smell compared to my normal paste. And so, yeah, it's got to be obviously something to do with whatever their formulas are. And so the tacky stuff is actually makes it really hard to clean the stencils. The stencils take twice as long to clean, but they reflow really well. Yeah, and this solder, as I said, I like using low temp solder. Tears of unicorns. Have I put anyone to sleep yet? Look how slow this is. How can you enjoy hand soldering? There's just nothing to enjoy about this. There's nothing good about it. If I didn't have to hand solder these headers on, I wouldn't have to clean the boards. Look at them, they don't need cleaning except for the freaking headers. Sorry. Fresh from Bitloonies. Tell that to David Watts. What did I miss? Sorry for the double post. That's okay. Double post is good. So I haven't even seen... Well, I lied. So... I'm just going to cover this. This is from Bitloony. Look at Australia. Australian. It's funny. So I might have had an earlier version of his... I've not even opened it because I was going to do videos about this and maybe some other stuff I might have here. But I've been waiting for other people to release their videos first because it's their stuff, right? But I guess now that Bitloony's released the cat out of the bag, I should open this up. So I believe this one works, but it's got an issue with sound, which he's solved. Here you go, it's a mail unboxing. That's hilarious. So here we go. Will you order a higher table? No, I won't. I'm going to keep it low. Oh God, look at the silica package packed it in. It is massive. This is an early revision of his VGA board. This is before he went all surface mount. Oh no, he went surface mount on this one. Oh right, so this one has a problem with the audio, I believe. The audio doesn't work on it. Wow, look at the size of the VGA connector compared to where the Tiny Pico goes. So the Tiny Pico goes here. I'm not going to connect this up now, so please don't ask me, because I don't even know where I have to grab all the software and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's a funky colour as well. It's like a dark green. I wonder where he got these made from. Could have been, Aisler, maybe? Oh, look how painful it was to put that on. So that's the VGA connector for a Tiny Pico. Look how small it is. But I believe the new boards look slightly different. So let's have a look at what the new boards look like. Where's that Tindy link? Here we go. Open a new window. We'll go have a look. Right, so yeah, the final ones are in black. Cool, I can list this on our website. Yay! On Tiny Pico website. So obviously BitLooney's got a green pre-production board, which I sent out to him. There's a few people have some of these boards. Oh, hello BitLooney! Good timing. So you've been lurking. Oh, you just got here, just in time, just arrived. Yeah. So I just opened this. Did you watch me open this? I actually just opened the package right now. Because I was going to wait for you to obviously announce it and release it. I haven't, so not even I just plugged the Tiny Pico into it now. Not even done anything with it. But yay. So BitLooney has released. So I think he's got, let's look, not just the Tiny Pico one. He's got his normal VGA board, and then he's got his, this is the one for the, what's that, whatever that, is it the Wemos? Is it a Wemos? Whatever it is. The D1 compatibility type board. Look how big that board is. That one still has got the the through-hole resistors, which is crazy. Right, so one of the things that BitLooney had to change is because of the number of GPIO on the Tiny Pico is less than on his other boards. That you can't support 8-bit VGA, so he's working on 6-bit VGA. So it'll have slightly less colours. That pos his B32 board is. So yeah, there'll be a 6-bit version of the library, or it'll support 6-bit for here. Obviously, because it's I'm using some of the I/O on the Tiny Pico to control the APA, and yeah, to get more I/O out on the Tiny Pico, I'd have to make the board bigger, and I didn't want to make the board bigger. So yep. So I think you were too short. I think 2 I/O short. Yeah, I mean the difference between 6-bit and 8-bit is going to be pretty marginal for most things at VGA level anyway. What else did I miss? Yeah, HDMI version would be awesome, wouldn't it? Well, Peter, I can... Maybe, Peter, we'll talk off list. Maybe you can make one. You can make a HDMI board for the Tiny Pico. What do you think? You got so much free time on your hands. You know, what have you got to do? Solder PMODs. Make boards. Back to doing this. I have to do these 12 boards. I need to get them cleaned. Like, I can't avoid. I've been avoiding this for so long. It'd be much faster for me to do them off camera, though. Wow, I've been going for 2.5 hours. No one checked the clock. No one commented on the time. This line out is good enough. Audio on the new Vision is still not suitable for headphones in lack of external amp. Right. That's okay. Headphones is fine. I probably wouldn't use it for sound. I'd be using it just for display. I need minions. Lots of minions. Yeah, I might need minions. You need more minions than me, actually. But yes, it's kind of like that, isn't it? I mean, it's a full-time job just running the pick and place machine. pretty sure I could do these twice as fast if I wasn't chatting. And the only reason I take it back out of the holder is I'm scared that when I solder these, I'm going to melt the PETG from the heat coming through the pins. So that's why I just do 2 on each. People think PMP just does things on its own. No, not even the... There's a reason why there are like 1 or 2 people standing next to one of the massive pick and place machines while they're running. Like even the massive pick and place machines get locked up feeders and missed placements of parts and all sorts of stuff, rip tape. Like it's very manual for an automated machine. Like placing parts, it's very manual. It needs human intervention all the time on a pick and place machine, no matter what level you go to. Pin 1 on the parts is the right way around for the reel. No, there's never an assumption. You don't know how, like, all the feeders load up the tape in the same way. So in my case, all the pins, the holes for the feeders are on top. And then like I've had to adjust a lot of my placement. A lot of parts have come in there either 180 or 90 degrees. And so I've had to readjust in the software what offset they need to be when they're picked up to turn. So like my Pico D4, which is on an angle, right? In Eagle, this is on a 45 degree angle, but in the pick and place is on a minus 135 degree angle because of the way it is inside the tape. So yeah, I had to fix a lot of that. Like it was putting my LDOs on upside down for a while on my first board. Yeah, I didn't tell you what else I did. So, and this is quite a common thing, especially on these smaller machines. So I got I was talking about the tape and about the 0402 and the placement. So you have to tell each bit of tape. You got to tell each bit of tape what the spacing is so it knows how to advance them. And for my LDOs, I had it wrong. I had it set to 8 millimeters, which is this spacing. I thought it was 1 per dot, but my LDOs are actually 2 per dot, and it's 4. So what it was doing was every time it was feeding 2, and then grabbing the first one. Feeding 2, grabbing the first one. And I did 3 panels like that until I realized, because I had, so 3 panels, 15 to 45, so I had at least 45 LDOs lying all over my pick and place machine. But they're not on top. They fall through the gap, which means they're all underneath, collected on the bottom. And so last night I went with my tweezers and I picked up every single LDO, and the LDOs are 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. No, 1.2 millimeters by 1.2 millimeters. I picked up every little LDO and stuck it in my manual pick and place thing because they're not cheap. Like, forget about caps and resistors. I don't care about those, but the LDOs aren't cheap. And I didn't want to waste them. It was like 45 or 50 of them. So I picked them all up and that was fun. So it's called shooting parts. That makes solder paste tape that goes on your board to test placement without actually pasting boards. No, so what I used is double-sided tape. So what I did was, it's the right thickness, so I cut off tape. So I covered this one with tape, double-sided tape, and this one. And it's really thin stuff. And then I placed them onto tape, right? And then I come back here, look under the microscope, write down a whole lot of things I want to change, and then sit there with my tweezers and peel them off the tape, right? And put them in my manual pick and place. I didn't waste any parts doing it. I reloaded them back in my manual pick and place machine. Right, so it was a sheet. Okay, fancier. Sure, this works pretty well. Did that quite a few times to get placement right. Back to soldering. Okay, I think it's going to be a 3-hour stream today. I'll go to 9:30. 3 hours, that's enough. I then need to go and make some tiny picos. But I might finish this off stream first. It won't be much longer. Another half an hour. I could sit here all day streaming, but I won't. Oh, by the way, everyone, and I know David is not here. David Watts is not here. So make a cast on the 2nd. So this my Monday, everyone else's Sunday. It's on David Watts' channel. Brian, has David got it listed on his channel yet? If you're there, or Dave Darko, Dave. Whoop, I just said David. Dave Darko. Wow, I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. Because yeah, if he's got it listed, can you post it? So I'm gonna be on it. Obviously, Mr. David Watts will be on it. Just Dave, yes. I apologise. Said sorry. And I believe Liz will be on it. Blitz City DIY. And Brian will be on it. And Dave, are you on it? Just Dave? No, BitLooney. And BitLooney is on it. So that is the thank you very much. Yay. I wasn't sure if Brian was still here, so that's why I asked you as well, Dave. And it's starting, I think it's an hour later than last month. And I think that's for my benefit. It's still a 6 a.m. start for me. I saw SuperCon tickets just got announced and I'm so tempted. I've always wanted to go to SuperConf. Always. But I don't know, it's just like everyone else outside of the US, it's just so much. It's going to cost me like, in accommodation and airfare, it's going to cost me like $2,000. I just really can't justify the money. I'd love to go. Reminder set. What? What's the reminder set? Missed one. Very hard to see what I'm doing when it's under the camera. Okay, 3 done. I don't know if I want to solder anymore. I'm just going to turn the iron off. It's not relaxing for me. It's a lot of money. I tell myself that meeting people is part of my job. And I agree, meeting people is part of this job, especially in the hardware maker space. Even more so in games. And I used to obviously travel for conferences for games all the time. It's a long swim. But it's just, like, my campaign's doing great, but my campaign, as I said, isn't break even yet, and it's going to be a while till I get any of that money, and I'm still running on no income. So, what's reminder set 2? What are people reminding me to do? Did I ask? I probably asked you to remind me to do something. What did... Steam reminder. What am I reminding my set? Sure. For MakerCast. Didn't I just talk about MakerCast? Wait, I'm confused. Celeste. What's Celeste? I'll have a look at the video later. Hex's Adventures, because I don't want to pull it up on... Well, I don't know. Am I going to get a copyright strike if I open that? What are people reminding me about again? Everyone's... I must have asked you to remind me something I can't remember. Just refresh the browser if you're getting... If you're getting bad audio or stuttering, just remember that. Oh, everyone's setting reminder for MakerCast. Wow. So I've not caught up on sleep yet. But I hope I'm feeling a bit more happier. A few people commented about I was looking deflated on my my pick and play video arrived. Hey Sean, howdy. I'm getting old. My brain's not working. Yeah, a few people commented that I was looking quite flat and deflated on my intro to my pick and place videos here. I didn't feel I looked that bad, but I hope I'm looking more. I'm not more energetic. Looking happier today. Penny goes cathode. Yeah, that's my brain's. Pretty much all of my brain cells are occupied right now. What few I have left. So I've got a pick and play. Who got a pick and place machine? What? So this is a game for the Pico 8. Cool. I need to get I know, I'm just, yeah. I'm not a good sleeper anyway, just generally, but I'm suffering a bit from lack of sleep at the moment. I'm just going back to that. I'm going to open this in a new window. Hopefully I'm not going to get a copyright strike. How long is the video? It's 47 seconds. Okay, there won't be a copyright strike on this. Cool. I'm going to... So the Hex's Adventures just posted this. I'm going to share it. This is the game Celeste down here from Pico 8 running on ESP32. Oh, it's got sound as well. I'm not sure you can hear the sound. Oh. Okay, compression problem from YouTube. Well, okay. So that's cool. Did you port that, did you? Europe's just as bad for me, Peter. Kill me if I go alone. That was cool. I'll have a look again later. What was I saying? 850? Am I at 850 tiny picos, am I? Wait, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Tindy looking for tiny picos. It's not going to happen there. Cool! Excellent. 850. Getting closer to that mark. 850 is a massive number still. You know, as much as I need it to get to like 1200 plus, like I'm super excited about where it's at. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't look so excited, but I'm trying to look more excited. Happy animated. So that would be the Celeste from Shump from MSX. So interesting. So you, how hard was it to port the Pico 8 code over to ESP32? I'd be curious to know, because maybe you can convert some Pico 8 games over to the PlayShield. That'd be pretty cool. Plan to sell any boards without antenna or PS RAM? No, because then that just makes the board the same as, well, obviously small, but I mean, PS RAM is one of its key points. And why would you not want an antenna? I guess not every ESP32 project needs Wi-Fi, but it would seem not a clever idea for me to sell a board without the antenna or RAM. Like, what would be the point? Is it size? First you wrote a game engine and then the game. So, oh, okay, cool. You got a game engine for the ESP32? I'll be interested in that. To connect to Bluetooth classic devices, PS3 controllers. Yeah, ESP32 now only supports BLE properly. Classic is just not. I think it's being, like, obviously the new chip doesn't even have Bluetooth. Right, you just want it single-sided. I mean, you can take the RAM off. You know, the, where's my... I mean, I'm not going to ship boards without RAM on them, but you can hot air the RAM off if you don't need the RAM, I guess. But it's one of its selling points, so, like, it doesn't make any sense to not have the RAM. You know, at one point early on, before I even thought about doing a crowd supply campaign, I thought maybe I'd have the option of doing, you know, I'd sell it with or without RAM. And what I'll probably do with the, when they go up on Tindy, is I'll also let people choose which headers they want and which JST connector they want, so I don't have to ship double headers and double JSTs and stuff. I could technically ship them on up from Tindy without the RAM. Yeah, I don't know. The reason I don't YouTube is because I have a resting board face. Paul, that's hilarious. I don't know. Like even like when I'm tired and exhausted, I'm still pretty normally happy-ish. I'm surprised that people can tell the difference between me being deflated or not. I find that it's not worth your time to give options on headers. Maybe not. I don't know. Whoops, didn't mean to go to there. Yeah, I don't know. It just all adds up. It's all money, I guess. But you're right. I mean, it's much easier to have everything pre-packed and just ship it. And I might just continue doing that with both JSTs as well. I mean, I have to get there first, right? I'm not even... I need to get past the campaign before I can even start selling them on Tindy, so I'll worry about that later. It's an open source implementation of the Pico 8. I thought the Pico 8 was open, all the software. Don't know about the hardware. Yeah, Julian doesn't show his face often, but I've said to you before, Julian, I like it when you do. I like it when you've done streams when you've had your face to the camera when you're talking. Yeah, it's nice. You should just send the boards with some assembly required if you can. Well, the boards come obviously with headers that you need to assemble, and the JSTs come separately, right? I don't ship the JST connected because I ship two types, the PH and the microblade, because some people have different batteries, different connections, different requirements, or some people don't want the JST connector on at all. So that already is some assembly required, but I wouldn't expect people to have to put the RAM on. I'd be worried about them damaging this side of the board in trying, maybe. Not everyone is skilled. I don't know. EMP machine. You could put a 1.5 film lens on top of the camera to magnify the small parts so they can easily be identified by the system. On the pick and place machine, you can't touch... If I stuck a lens on that machine, it would completely change all of their calibration for all of their software. Yeah, I don't think that would... Colin doesn't stick his mug in your videos too much. I think you do. But it's not a mug. It's you. It's your face. That's okay. Anyone seen Steve O? No, I don't know where Mr. Ludgate is. Yeah, I enjoy Julian's videos. I don't get to watch as much of them as I said. I'm not watching a lot of YouTube at the moment. Awesome. Hex's Adventures. Hit me up on my contact page on my website, unexpectedmaker.com. Just use the contact page there and shoot me an email so we can chat off here about what you're doing. It's pretty cool. I'm interested, obviously, because I spent a decade and a half of my life making games. So I don't want to make games anymore specifically, but I'm still interested in it all. So I'm happy to chat with you about it. All right, now back to this screen. I feel guilty when I look at my my feed on YouTube and look at all the videos I haven't watched, and a lot of videos I've half watched as well. My hair grows so quickly I look like a different person every day. Really? You should be glad you still got hair, Julian. Sorry, that wasn't a dig. I'm just saying, like, I'm like, if I ever lost my hair, I'm pretty vain. Like, if I ever lost my hair, I'd be... As soon as my hair starts going, I'd probably just shave it all off. Like, I'd go extreme one way or another. What was your coding language of choice for most games? No, I was using C#. So, yeah, I was making games in Unity, so it was all C#. Had to jump into C++ land when I was working on console for, doing low-level stuff where Unity talking to the SDKs on the console, like the PS4 and Xbox One. But otherwise, it was all C#. Yeah, I use playback speed like 1.5 a lot. So Julian's last video when he goes into chipmunk mode, when he fast forwards himself and leaves the audio going, which is really cute. That, when you play that back at 1.5, sounds really... yeah. Like I gotta not listen on my headphones. Gets a bit annoying. You could always do your videos not in English. That's okay. There's still a market for that, kind of. Maybe not as big. The something engineer, apocalyptic engineer. What's his channel? What's it called? Can't remember. The German guy. Post-apocalyptic engineer. Is that it? Channel. I mean, he does a lot of stuff in English, but he's been releasing some videos of a show he's been working on that's for Germany. It's in German, and they look like really interesting shows, but they're in German, and I don't understand them. Music and subtitles. Yeah, I like making videos where I don't talk in them, or I'm not in them as well. I like doing both. Yeah, I actually prefer doing like talking while I'm working than doing voiceover later. I find it frustrating. Postal Property Inventor, that's the one. Thank you. Couldn't remember his name. Um, yes, he's had some of his videos and he said like he did an intro about them saying look they're in German because they're for a German TV show, but they look really really interesting and I wish I could understand them. It's not like I can live Google translate them, right? That would be a really cool thing if Google did, would be live subtitles. Is that a thing? Do they already do that? Uh-oh. Dave Darko found something on Twitter. Is this going to be channel friendly or not? Dun 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 dun. Kickstarter project. Whoa! Holy moly, I'm buying one of those. Look at that. Matt Trentini, you still listening? Probably gone to work. Probably at work. Hey Scott. Welcome to the party. 10 minutes before the stream ends. That's cool. um, that looks really cool. Corbin Dallin Multipass. If I play the video, what's going to happen? Am I going to get in trouble? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, I'm going to try it. Should I click play? Oh, dude, Scott, you need to go back and watch from the start. There was an hour and a half on the pick and place. Mute the page. That's not a bad idea. But can I mute it before it starts playing? I can't, can I? I have to wait till it's playing to mute it. Julian's saying no, don't click it. Or no, I won't get a copyright strike. Sometimes you're too brief, Julian. I'm going to see if I can mute it, or at least put the sound down. There we go. Oh, check that out. So those spinning light things are buttons. Wow, how fast is that? How fast is that screen, e-paper screen going? Jesus. Excuse me. Yeah, that's e-ink. You can see it by its... But look how fast it is. That is really cool. One backer, pledge 1,000 or more. Fifth element. So how much is it? Fully assembled badge reserved just for you and shipped to the destination of your choice. Only United States. Really? So you can't buy these outside of the States? No way. Bummer. You can ship stuff to me and I'm happy to forward it to you. Thanks, Peter. So if I buy 2 and you'll forward 1, yeah? It's crazy expensive, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm a huge Fifth Element fan. Like, I've watched it 10 times. I got it on Blu-ray. It was the first film I ever bought on Blu-ray was Fifth Element. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And this is one of my favourite scenes. I'd gladly, I'd back it for $120, but it doesn't ship to me. Oh, it's 120 US. Holy moly. It's like $160. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Oh well. Oh well. I just have to order one and be waiting for you at Supercon. I'm not going to get to Supercon. I really want to go. I'm just not going to get there. I can't see it being... When is Supercon? When is it? I guess that's also an important thing. I might be shipping boards still at that point. Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a great film. But Fifth Element was just... Yeah. Really, really awesome. It's in November. Okay, I got plenty of time. I hope I'm still not shipping Tiny Picos. I'm still making them at that point. So my plan today is, once the stream is finished, I'm going to... I've got 9 more of these to solder. I'm going to solder those up, and then I'm going to... I want to build... I'm going to try to build... I'll build 3 panels today. I'm going to try to do at least 3 panels every day. 4, I think 4 in a long day, maybe, I don't know. I've still got stacks of shields to make, but I want to stock up. So I've got 91 Tiny Picos in a box, but 89 of them don't have RAM on them yet. So I haven't got RAM in the second pass testing. 2 of them have. And then, so I want to like get to a few hundred or more here, and then I'll work out what I'm going to do about early shipping, about reducing my shipping time. I assume a few of you would like that, right? What time is it for me? It's 9:30 a.m. So my stream normally starts at 6:30 my time in the morning. No problem if you want one. Yeah, I can get one shipped to David as well. It's not like we haven't done that before. So David bought some stuff for me from Amazon US because I couldn't buy it anywhere else, and got it shipped to me from UPS, which was awesome. He got me some double-sided audio tape that I was going to use for cover feeders. But then... But then I found on Ali a place where I could buy these. These are cover tape extenders. So they have sticky on one side, and you attach it to your reel to the tape, and then it extends it so you can feed it into the machine. I bought a box of 500 of these, so I'm using these instead. So I'm not going to use the audio tape stuff, but still, big thank you to David for helping me out getting those. I've actually got a video of me loading. Where is it? Hang on. I can show you another video. As I said, I've taken hours of video for the pick and place up to this point, but I just don't think there's any point me releasing any of it as videos, because it's all old. Like it's all irrelevant now. But I did get Yaz to shoot a video of me, if I can find it. Is this the one? Okay, so looking at the last white tape. So what's... Nope. Where is it? Sorry, just bear with me a second. If I can find it. Then I can show you what it's like to load in the tape. But I can't find the video. I hope I didn't delete it by accident. I had to clean out. My phone was full. I had to clean out. I must have deleted it by accident. No way. Actually, I'll show you this one. This is my first panel, Tiny Pico. I'll just copy that over. But I want to find... I must have deleted it. It was a video... Yaz took a video of me loading up one of the tapes to show you how painful it was. Damn. That's really annoying. Anyway, I'll show you this one. This is my first... And you'll get to see the machine vision working, and badly. My favourite movie, The Bounty. The Bounty is a really good film, actually. Okay, I'm going to end it in a minute. I know it's 9:29. I'm going to end this with showing you one more video, which is... It was the first run I did. My first Tiny Pico board. My first panel. Want to write the code. I thought, aren't you writing the code? That, can I tell you, has everyone seen... Hey, Just Dave, can you post your Twitter handle? Has everyone seen what Dave's making? It's amazing. He's made a Space Invaders game using LEDs shining through the PCB, using... Anyway, just post it. Post it, please. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is the very first one I ran. My very first board. Goes for 39 seconds. Here we go. Building my first Tiny Pico panel. It's not going so great. So what's interesting about that is, like, you see how bright the camera is there? That's quite dark in the room, right? I have to lift the lighting on my camera right up. And you can see the glare from the light. When I'm sitting there and watching the pick and place machine, every time that light turns on, I'm blinded. Like, the next two pieces that get placed, I can't see anything. I'm completely blinded. I've got to quickly put my hand up all the time. As it turns out, I'm not using the up camera anymore. But, it's crazy. Anyway... Dave's. Let's open new window. So this is what Dave has made. It is... Oh, it's gone full screen. That's just obviously lighting up all the LEDs. So it's a Space Invaders game using, I'm assuming, lots of Charlie plexing. I don't know, I haven't seen what's on the back. I love Sneakers. Great film. There's so many good films out there. So many. Anyway, I can't wait to get my hands on one of these. Assuming it's got some code on it. Dave? I don't want it if I can't play. But that is wild. That is such a great thing. So clever. So clever. Okay. That's it. I'm going to end the stream. If I can... Close that off. 3 hours. Actually more, because I started early. Okay, I'm going to not do long streams, remember? Yeah, get on it, write the code, will you? I want to buy one of those and play the game. Okay, thank you all for joining. I hope you found some of my stuff interesting. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Godfather movies, gotta say. That's just me. Anyway, thank you all. So, very quick summary. The Pick and Place was a great investment. It's no better than I thought it would be. It's a couple of bits worse than I was hoping it would be, but it's allowing me to massively increase my turnover. of boards, and my yield is 100%, except for one board, which is great, because that's super important as well. So it was definitely worth me buying. I wish I had something a bit better, but couldn't afford it. Anyway, and the campaign is on track, and I'm hoping to hopefully ship earlier than later. And I don't want to solder it. I want to finish one. I don't want to have to solder all those LEDs on. Oh, I could always put it on the pick and place machine if I had the files. Anyway, so yes, the pick and place win. Tiny Pico is being made. Win. Thank you all for joining. I don't know if I'm going to have any videos coming out between now and next week. I might do some more. What's OFFY, Rob? What's going on? Did you fall asleep, did you? I might release some more just videos of the pick and place machine during the week. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But otherwise, yep. Catch you next week. If I can find the stop button, as per normal. Bye. Oh, don't forget, make a cast. Sunday night, everyone's time except for me, Monday morning. A couple of people might be Monday morning as well. Really early, 6 o'clock in the morning. Make a cast. Come and join us. I'm going to try not to repeat myself too much from what I spoke about today. Brian's got something cool to show, obviously, and Bit Looney. He's got lots of stuff. Everyone's got stuff to show and talk about. Anyway, it's going to be cool. Catch you all later. Where's that button? Bye.